Chapter 76. As expected, that Ian was chased away by Long Yu. This is so satisfying. However, Senior Brother Long Yu chased away Ian. I'm afraid there will be a lot of trouble. I feel that since Senior Brother Long Yu dared to make a move, he must have made preparations. Why should we worry blindly? That's right. Speaking of which, I can finally enter the Sect Valley to cultivate. I feel that I only need one more day to truly comprehend the heaven-suppressing intent realm. Junior brother, go ahead and cultivate first. We will come again tomorrow at this time. Congratulations on comprehending the intent realm in advance. Amidst the discussions, two core disciples who were ranked at the bottom of the rankings walked into the Sect Valley to cultivate and comprehend together with Long Yu. The two looked at Long Yu with admiration and gratitude. If it wasn't for Long Yu chasing away Ian, they would have to wait another 5 days before they could enter the Sect Valley. 5 days was extremely precious to any martial cultivator. They were naturally grateful to Long Yu. However, Long Yu did not pay attention to them at all. Currently, apart from a trace of vigilance, Long Yu was fully focused on comprehending the suppression law of heaven and earth. Suppression is a law that originally exists between heaven and earth. The heaven-suppressing art teaches martial cultivators to sense the existence of the suppression law of heaven and earth through the circulation of celestial qi. Even without cultivating the heaven-suppressing art, if one can sense the suppression law of heaven and earth through the veins of the sky, one can also comprehend the suppression intent realm and even the law. However, the power of a single law is rare. If one doesn't cultivate the heaven-suppressing art, it is extremely difficult for anyone to sense the existence of the suppression law. To put it simply, cultivating the heaven-suppressing art is not necessary to comprehend the suppression law. However, it allows one to feel the suppression intent realm more easily. And cultivating in the Sect Valley will expand the amount of the suppression law between heaven and earth. The Sect Valley is filled with the suppression law. Martial cultivators who come here to cultivate can, of course, comprehend the suppression intent realm faster. Since Long Yu started cultivating until now, he had already comprehended the grand momentum of suppressing the heavens and the earth, so he naturally understood the principle behind it clearly. Aside from the law of suppression, for example, the law of ice recorded in the mental cultivation method of the ice sect was actually the same. It was just that by cultivating the mental cultivation method, it would be easier to comprehend the laws of the world. But from this, he had a question. Since it was extremely difficult to sense the laws of heaven and earth without cultivating a mental cultivation technique, then how did the creator of the mental cultivation technique, such as the founder of the Jintian clan, sense the laws of suppression and create the heaven suppression formula? Or perhaps, even the founder of the Jintian clan had first created the heaven suppressing chant before comprehending the heaven suppressing law? Perhaps no one in the entire Jintian clan could answer this question, because that era was too long ago. At this time, Long Yu could only rely on the heaven suppression art to sense the suppression laws, and in the Sect Valley, the sensing speed was even faster. During these 3 days, the people who came to cultivate in the Sect Valley changed again and again, but Long Yu didn't pay any attention to them. On the other hand, Wu Jianxin didn't cause trouble for him during these 3 days. Perhaps he felt that he would soon set off for the depths of the soaring snake abyss, and there would be plenty of opportunities to kill Long Yu, so there was no need for him to do anything unnecessary. When the 3 days were up, Long Yu's core disciple identity token started to tremble, reminding him that time was up and it was time to leave and make way for other disciples of the sect. Long Yu stood up, grasped the Heaven Dragon Spear, and strode out of the Sect Valley under the admiring gazes of several Jintian clan core disciples. With the Heaven Dragon Spear in hand, I'll cultivate the heaven-suppressing spear art. After these 3 days of comprehension, I've finally completely consolidated the heaven-suppressing momentum, and the strength of the pressure has increased by at least 30%. After leaving the Sect Valley, Long Yu headed for the Elder Cabinet, his eyes shining brightly. At the same time, the consolidation of the heaven-suppressing momentum has actually led to the improvement of my heaven-suppressing spear art, allowing me to comprehend the greater success stage of the heaven-suppressing spear art. At the greater success stage of the heaven-suppressing spear art, he could thrust out dozens of spear strikes at an extremely fast speed. The spear shadows were everywhere, and every spear strike would be infused with the heaven-suppressing momentum, giving it unparalleled power. If the heaven-suppressing momentum that Long Yu infused with his full-strength spear strike had the strength of 400 to 500 fierce horses, the power of the spear shadows would definitely exceed the strength of 1,000 fierce horses. The strength of 1,000 fierce horses was the basic strength of an expert who had just stepped into the true spirit realm. At the 8th stage of the martial path, I can execute a martial skill with the strength of 1,000 fierce horses, which is 4 to 5 times stronger than the basic strength. This shows how powerful the heaven-suppressing spear art is when infused with the heaven-suppressing momentum. As Long Yu ran, he was filled with heroic spirit. He turned into a ghost and disappeared into the forest. His illusory figure quickly moved through the forest. Soon, he found a rather hidden place. He took out the high-grade pill, the wind-parting pill, and swallowed it in one gulp. For a martial cultivator at the 8th stage of the martial Tao, a high-grade pill could only increase their strength by a hair from 9 oxen. However, it was better than nothing. Furthermore, with the 9 underworld dragon seal, Long Yu could completely absorb the medicinal power of any pill. To Long Yu, a high-grade pill was equivalent to 3 pills. In the evening, Long Yu stored all the spirit energy of the wind-parting pill into the 9 underworld dragon seal. Only then did he open his eyes, stand up, and continue towards his destination. The place he wanted to go was the bamboo forest where the Elder Cabinet was located. It was several mountains away from the Sect Valley. Because of this, he took the time to absorb the wind-parting pill on the way. And the reason he wanted to go to the bamboo forest was naturally to visit the injured Yu Shuiyun, Elder Yu. Elder Yu is currently recuperating in the residence of the Elder Cabinet. There were many elders taking turns to take care of him. Of course, the most important person was Elder Yu's own disciple. Normally, Elder Yu would give his disciple more cultivation resources. Now that he was injured and unconscious, his disciple would naturally take care of him. There's killing intent. The moment Long Yu stepped into the bamboo forest, he felt a faint killing intent permeating the entire bamboo forest. It immediately made him vigilant. Long Yu was extremely sensitive to killing intent. He immediately turned into a ghost and turned illusory. Borrowing the shadow of the setting sun, he instantly disappeared into the bamboo forest. If one didn't look carefully, they wouldn't be able to see Long Yu's figure. Long Yu's first reaction was that someone was ambushing him here. However, he soon realized that this wasn't the case. Swish, swish, swish. 3 black shadows shuttled through the bamboo forest and quietly made their way towards the house where Elder Yu was at. Attack! A fierce shout filled the air with killing intent. The 3 shadows each held a broken black saber in their hands. Condensing profound chi, 3 sharp saber lights swept out and slashed towards the bamboo house where Elder Yu was. Want to kill Elder Yu? Long Yu's heart skipped a beat. At this moment, he had no choice but to step forward, because he saw from afar that Elder Yu was the only one in the bamboo house. He was draped in a black robe and lying on the bamboo bed. There was no one else there. If Long Yu didn't make a move, Elder Yu would definitely be killed by the 3 shadow saber lights. The sun is setting. This is the time to eat. The disciple taking care of Elder Yu is probably left to eat. These 3 shadows actually chose this time to make a move. They must have been observing nearby for a long time. Long Yu thought as he brandished the Cosmos Dragon Spear in his hand. Cosmos Dragon Leaping. Apart from using the Cosmos Dragon Leaping technique, there was no other way to cover a distance of several dozen feet. The heaven-suppressing force instantly gathered at the tip of the Cosmos Dragon Spear. Then, with a sweep, a gust of air instantly swept up Long Yu and leaped towards the path of the 3 saber lights. The heaven-suppressing force descended. With the cosmos dragon spear in hand, Long Yu was like a heavenly dragon descending to earth. "Break for me," Long Yu shouted. The force enveloped and trembled, instantly shattering one of the saber lights. Then, the tip of the spear stabbed the other saber light, and the ferocious pressure crushed it into pieces. The pressure descended, and Long Yu instantly swept away the two saber lights. However, when he stabbed the last saber light with his spear, he felt a burst of terrifying power rebound from the saber light, penetrating into his internal organs in an instant. Even though Long Yu had cultivated the demon, subduing tyrant body to perfection, the rebound force still damaged his internal organs, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Bang! Long Yu descended from the sky and barely managed to stand on the ground, his eyebrows knitted together. Among the three black figures, one of them was an expert above the true spirit realm, and the rebound force from the last saber light had seriously injured Long Yu. Boom! With a loud bang, the bamboo house where Elder Yu was located behind Long Yu was struck by the saber light and immediately collapsed. Fortunately, Long Yu's spear had stabbed into the saber light, causing the saber light to deviate slightly. It didn't hit Elder Yu's body, saving his life. At this time, Elder Yu had not woken up, and if not for Long Yu, he would have been dead. Who is it that wants to kill Elder Yu? Long Yu turned around and looked at the three black shadows, only to see that the three black shadows had already disappeared. They had actually disappeared into the bamboo forest. Under the cover of the rumbling sound of the bamboo house collapsing, the three black figures took the opportunity to hide themselves, causing Long Yu to be unable to sense their auras at all. Only a faint killing intent spread out in the bamboo forest, letting Long Yu know that they had not left yet. Bang! Suddenly, the sound of a saber breaking came from behind Long Yu, and a terrifying pressure enveloped him. A saber light swept towards his back. With Long Yu's current strength of the 8th-stage martial path, he could not block it, nor could he dodge it. Broken Saber True Spirit, Broken Saber Sect. Ha! It really is you guys. At this time, an arrogant laughter came from the side, and Long Yu immediately recognized that it was coming on foot. An arrogant eagle's cry descended from the sky. Immediately after, Long Yu turned his head to look, only to see a phantom of a heavenly eagle, instantly blocking the saber light for him, and then actually fighting with the phantom of a broken saber. Broken Saber Sect? Long Yu's heart skipped a beat. He knew that the Broken Saber Sect was the same as the Jintian clan, one of the 7 major sects of the Tang Empire. Chapter 77. At the critical moment when Elder Yu and Long Yu were in danger, the number 1 core disciple of the Jintian clan had summoned the Heavenly Eagle True Spirit to save them from the danger. However, the Heavenly Eagle True Spirit and the heaven-suppressing aura were unable to break through the opponent's Broken Saber Shadow, which showed that the opponent's martial Dao realm was extremely high. It's on foot. Let's go first. A cold snort came from the darkness. Then, 3 shadows reappeared in front of Long Yu and fled in 3 different directions out of the bamboo forest. Even if you stop us this time, we still have another one. Old Yu, you won't be able to escape death. 3 voices came from 3 different directions. Junior brother, take care of Elder Yu. I'll catch up to them. On foot, there was no time to talk to Long Yu. With a move of his feet, he instantly moved and chased after the black shadows in the true spirit realm. Long Yu nodded his head and walked quickly to Elder Yu in the bamboo house with the Qianlong spear in his hand. Although he had been injured by the Broken Saber Sect's true spirit realm expert, he had the demon vanquishing tyrant body to protect his body. He should be fine after resting for a while. However, he had no time to rest now. Elder Yu. Long Yu entered the collapsed bamboo house and found Yu Shiyun's black-robed figure. He carried her on his back and left the collapsed bamboo house. This scene was witnessed by a few people who came over after hearing the news. Who dares to touch my master? A violent roar instantly entered Long Yu's ears. Then, a few figures rushed over and surrounded Long Yu. Long Yu raised his head and saw a few disciples of the Jintian clan surrounding him with unfriendly expressions. One of them was a black-faced young man with a sturdy build. He was the one who had just shouted. He should be Yu Shuiyun's disciple, Lu Guanming. A total of 5 people should have heard the commotion here, so they quickly rushed over. In the end, they just happened to see Long Yu carrying Elder Yu's body out from the collapsed bamboo house. Subconsciously, they thought that it was Long Yu who had caused the bamboo house to collapse in order to hurt Elder Yu. He's Long Yu. I've seen him in the arena. One of them pointed at Long Yu and said while keeping an eye on Long Yu's escape. Long Yu. The hearts of the other 4 instantly went cold, and Yu Shuiyun's disciple, Lu Guanming, shouted, "So it's Long Yu, you scoundrel. My master was injured because he was protecting you, and now you're biting the hand that fed you and plotting against my master. You're worse than a beast. Senior brothers, don't be rash." Long Yu slightly frowned. While guarding against the other party's attack, he explained, "Originally, I wanted to visit Elder Yu, but when I came to the bamboo forest, I happened to see 3 assassins from the Broken Blade sect trying to assassinate Elder Yu. This bamboo house was destroyed by the Broken Blade sect's assassins with their saber light." "Nonsense!" One of the young men's eyes flashed with ridicule, and he sharply said, "Broken Blade sect's assassins? Then tell me, where are the Broken Blade sect's assassins now?" Senior Brother Bu arrived in time and has already chased after them. Long Yu lightly said, "Senior Brother Bu?" The 5 people were stunned when they heard this, but they immediately reacted. "On foot. Senior Brother Bu has arrived?" However, Long Yu's words had no proof, so the 5 people naturally did not believe him. "Don't listen to his nonsense. Let's not let him escape." As the other person spoke, he took out a long sword combat weapon and glared at Long Yu like a tiger watching its prey. "Long Yu, why aren't you putting my master down?" The black-faced Lu Guanming held a large hammer battle weapon in his hand. His face was filled with hatred as he stared at Long Yu. He violently shouted, "If anything happens to my master, I will make you pay the price even if I have to risk my life." Lu Guanming was only ranked 35th among the core disciples. As for the others, they were not much weaker than Lu Guanming, and they were all in the 8th stage of the martial path. Even if they joined forces, they might not be a match for Long Yu. The 5 of them were well aware of this. After all, the news of Long Yu defeating Hua Iluan, who was originally ranked 6th among the core disciples, had already spread throughout the Jintian clan. However, even if they could not win, they could not let Long Yu leave. "It's up to you whether you believe me or not." Long Yu calmly observed his surroundings and said calmly, "All we need to do is wait here. Once Senior Brother Bu returns, the truth will be revealed." As for handing over the unconscious Yu Shuiyun, Long Yu would not do such a stupid thing. Although he could tell that the black-faced Lu Guanming was really thinking about Yu Shuiyun and worried about his master's safety, it was hard to say what the other 4 were thinking. If Long Yu handed over Yu Shuiyun and the other 4 did something to her, it would become an excuse for them to attack Long Yu. If anything happened to Yu Shuiyun, even if he returned on foot, he would not be able to clear Long Yu's name. Therefore, what Long Yu needed to do now was to protect Yu Shuiyun and wait for him to return on foot. With so many Jintian clan disciples present, the 2 assassins from the Broken Blade sect naturally would not appear again. Instead, it was Long Yu who had to be on guard against a sudden attack from his own people. It was a little ridiculous to say it, but Long Yu also knew that under these circumstances, it was impossible for him to convince Lu Guanming and the others to believe the truth. "What's going on here?" Suddenly, a stern reprimand came from the bamboo forest's entrance. Lu Guanming and the other 4, including Long Yu, looked in the direction of the voice and saw a short, black-faced, brawny man with thick arms. It was Elder Wu Jianxin, the person who distributed the rewards to the core disciples. Although Wu Jianxin had a sturdy body, he was quite short and looked like a black charcoal. He came from the edge of the bamboo forest with a fierce look in his eyes as he looked at Long Yu. When he saw Long Yu carrying Yu Shuiyun on his back, a fierce glint flashed across Wu Jianxin's eyes, but it quickly returned to normal as if nothing had happened. However, that ominous glint was captured by Long Yu's sharp senses. What exactly is this Wu Jianxin up to? Long Yu's heart skipped a beat. He instantly realized that Wu Jianxin must have done something behind the scenes. However, it was impossible for Long Yu to say it out loud. After all, it was only his speculation, and he had no evidence to prove it. He had no idea what Wu Jianxin had done. As Wu Jianxin approached, his body emitted the aura of the heavens and earth, which enveloped everyone. With Yu Shuiyun on his back, Long Yu could clearly feel that Wu Jianxin's target was him. As an elder, Wu Jianxin had used the aura of the heavens and earth of a true spirit mystical ground expert on him. Following behind Wu Jianxin were two other elders. However, Long Yu did not recognize these two elders. He had only taken a glance at them the first time he had come to the elders' pavilion. Among the three elders, Wu Jianxin had already unleashed the aura of the heavens and earth to suppress Long Yu. Currently, Long Yu could not even move an inch. His face was covered in sweat, and he could only grit his teeth to stabilize Yu Shuiyun on his back. Long Yu, as a disciple of the Jintian clan, you tried to harm an elder who saved you. This crime is enough for you to die 10,000 times. Wu Jianxin said coldly as he stood 10 zhang away from Long Yu. If you want to pin a crime on someone, you can always find a pretext. Long Yu clenched his teeth and unleashed the aura of the heavens and earth to resist Wu Jianxin's aura. He raised his head stubbornly and said with difficulty, I only stopped the assassin from the Broken Blade sect and protected Elder Yu. Senior Brother Bu will know what happened when he returns. You still dare to argue? Wu Jianxin shouted. If you confess to your crimes now, I can give you a lenient punishment. Your cultivation will be crippled, and you can leave the Jintian clan. If you refuse to admit your crimes, I, Wu Jianxin, as an elder of the Jintian clan, can only kill you on the spot as a warning to others. Ha. Long Yu laughed with difficulty. If you don't dare to wait for Senior Brother Bu's return, then you have a guilty conscience. I, Wu Jianxin, am an elder. Do I need you to teach me how to do things? Wu Jianxin harumphed coldly and took a step forward, causing Long Yu to suffer an even stronger aura of the heavens and earth. As a result, Long Yu could not even speak. Footsteps sounded from outside the bamboo forest. More and more Jintian clan disciples rushed over after hearing the news. There were more than 100 of them. Among them was Yi Yan's follower, Lu Shucheng, who had been scared away by Long Yu. He had a smug look on his face as he led a group of people forward. Everyone, look, that's Long Yu. How dare he try to kill Elder Yu, who saved his life? He's worse than a beast. Lu Shucheng pointed at Long Yu, his words filled with disdain and disdain. It was as if he was showing off to Long Yu. After hearing Lu Shucheng's words, the dozens of Jintian clan disciples pointed at Long Yu and discussed among themselves. They were obviously accusing Long Yu of being such an ungrateful and despicable person. People who did not know the truth were easily misled by rumors, especially when they saw Long Yu standing in front of the collapsed bamboo house with Elder Yu on his back. Now, I, Wu Jianxin, am going to execute the elder's accusation and kill this disgraceful Long Yu. Wu Jianxin took another step forward and looked around before he shouted, Who has any objections? Step forward now. Kill him. Kill him. Every disciple of the heaven-suppressing sect present on the scene shouted out, as they looked at Long Yu with disdain in their eyes. Long Yu, who had done such a disgraceful and ungrateful thing, will be despised by everyone. If that's the case, I'll do it now. Wu Jianxin harumphed coldly as he looked at Long Yu and stepped forward. As Wu Jianxin moved forward, Long Yu felt the pressure of the heaven and earth on him becoming stronger. He had no way of fighting back against an elder who had been in the true spirit realm for many years. He's walking, and there's no sign of him coming back. The only thing I could do now is... Long Yu's heart was pounding. Even his dantian began to beat rapidly, allowing the qi in his body to circulate. His suppressed body, under the powerful throbbing of his dantian and driven by the profound qi, finally had the strength to move a little. I can only move a little. I can't miss this opportunity. Long Yu made up his mind and held the Qianlong spear tightly. Puff. Chapter 78. Long Yu's actions caused everyone in the surroundings to be stunned for a moment. Did Long Yu commit suicide because he couldn't withstand Elder Wu Jianxin's aura? However, Long Yu's chest was bleeding profusely from a spear strike. The blood was accompanied by black ripples, which was eerie and creepy. Wu Jianxin, who was initially walking forward, came to a stop with a frown. The blood flowing out of Long Yu's chest struck fear into Wu Jianxin's heart. The black ripples seemed to have come from the 9 hells and were terrifying. It's up to you whether I live or die. Long Yu used all the strength in his body to finally be able to make such a move. He stabbed the tip of the Heaven Dragon Spear into the 9 underworld's dragon mark on his chest. Last time, when the dragon seal of the 9 hells was hit by the wind and cloud palm, it emitted the netherworld chi and hurt the wind and cloud. Now that Long Yu had pierced the dragon seal of the 9 hells into his chest and penetrated it, what would happen to the dragon seal of the 9 hells? As the black ripples flowed out, the tip of the Heaven Dragon Spear was dyed black. Then, the entire Heaven Dragon Spear was covered with a creepy black aura. A gust of the netherworld chi instantly spread in all directions. The aura, which seemed to come from the Yellow Springs, enveloped the entire bamboo forest and seeped into everyone's body. Everyone, including Wu Jianxin, felt a bone-piercing chill that almost froze them on the spot. The blood and celestial chi in their bodies instantly slowed down. They stared at the scene and the black blood flowing out of Long Yu's chest. No one knew what was going on, but they were sure that Long Yu was extremely strange. In just a short while, a layer of faint black frost had formed on the surface of everyone's body, causing their movements to become stiff. As Wu Jianxin was enveloped by the netherworld chi, the power of heaven and earth that had been suppressing Long Yu disappeared, allowing Long Yu to relax instantly. Has he been frozen by the netherworld chi? Enduring the sharp pain in his chest, Long Yu raised his head and looked around. Then, he was about to seize the opportunity to leave. Now, there was no time to lose. No one knew how long the netherworld chi that seeped out from the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds would freeze the surrounding people. This was especially true for Wu Jianxin. His martial arts realm was extremely high, and he would probably recover soon. He pulled out the Heaven Dragon Spear that had been dyed black with one hand and carried the unconscious Yu Shuiyun with the other. He stood up and dashed toward the bamboo forest to relieve himself. Wu Jianxin was obviously infuriated by his escape, and his eyes almost popped out of their sockets. However, everyone present was enveloped by the aura of the netherworld. They were frozen, and even their heartbeats almost stopped. No one could stop Long Yu from leaving. Fortunately, after the netherworld chi gushed out from Long Yu's chest, it started to dissipate. Wu Jianxin could feel that after a short while, the strange aura that froze him would disappear and completely blend into the world. However, in this short period of time, he could only watch as Long Yu escaped with Yu Shuiyun. Soon after, Long Yu and Yu Shuiyun disappeared from everyone's sight. The bamboo forest was left with an eerie and desolate aura, causing everyone to shiver. After half an hour, Wu Jianxin gradually returned to normal. The eerie netherworld chi gradually merged with the heaven and earth. With his martial Dao realm, he was finally able to expel the netherworld chi that had invaded his body. Humph! He snorted coldly with a dark expression and looked around. When he saw that the disciples of the Jintian clan were still unconscious, his expression darkened even more. Elders, I'll have to trouble the 2 of you to stay here and pacify the disciples. Furthermore, you have to publicize Long Yu's evil deeds to the public. Wu Jianxin said to the 2 elders beside him who were on the verge of fully recovering. I, Wu Jianxin, will definitely capture Long Yu today. As soon as he finished speaking, he took a step forward and chased after Long Yu. It seemed like Long Yu was escaping in the direction of the Suppression Canyon to leave the Jintian clan. Wu Jianxin naturally chased after him in that direction. However, he did not know that he was chasing in the wrong direction. At this moment, Long Yu was running in the opposite direction toward the soaring serpent abyss. This meant that Wu Jianxin would not be able to catch up to Long Yu today. An hour was more than enough for Long Yu to run hundreds of miles away. Even Wu Jianxin, who had already entered the true spirit realm, would not be able to catch up to Long Yu. After leaving the bamboo forest with Yu Shuiyun, Long Yu quickly came up with a follow-up plan. Of course, he did not want to be a fugitive. Since Wu Jianxin wanted to harm him, he would return the favor and let Wu Jianxin have a taste of his own medicine. This Wu Jianxin didn't dare to wait for me to return on foot before rushing to kill me. He must have some ulterior motives. Long Yu thought to himself, if Elder Yu wakes up, I might be able to find out a thing or two. At this moment, Long Yu's destination was the depths of the soaring serpent abyss. The people from the Broken Saber sect wanted Yu Shuiyun's life, and this Wu Jianxin also had ulterior motives. Long Yu would definitely dig out all these secrets and seek justice for himself. In particular, Wu Jianxin had arranged for Long Yu, Tin Wuchuan, and Luo Tailong to gather medicinal herbs. It was obvious that he wanted Long Yu's life. Since you want my life, I would like to see what kind of shameful things you, a dignified elder of the Jintian clan, have done. Long Yu thought to himself. If he wanted to accomplish all this, he would, of course, have to wake Yu Shuiyun up first. Treating Yu Shuiyun required 3 kinds of medicinal herbs: dragon head grass, flowerless acorns, and sweet tulip flowers. Among them, the flowerless acorns could nourish the meridians. Even if the meridians were damaged, the flowerless acorns could be used to recover. The sweet tulip flowers could strengthen the regeneration ability of the Dantian. As long as the Dantian was not completely destroyed, it could be used to recover. These 2 medicinal herbs were extremely valuable. Within 1,000 li, they could only be found in the depths of the soaring serpent abyss. As for the dragon head grass, it was used to refresh the mind and allow Yu Shuiyun to regain his consciousness. Only by combining the 3 could Yu Shuiyun's injuries be treated, or rather, the poison that he had been inflicted with. Now that Long Yu was carrying Yu Shuiyun on his back, he could clearly feel that Yu Shuiyun was not simply injured. He had been inflicted with a deadly poison, causing him to fall into a state of hibernation. Furthermore, his meridians and Dantian were surrounded by the poison. However, the poison was still in its incubation period and had yet to erupt. Once it did, Yu Shuiyun would be beyond saving. No wonder he needed the dragon head grass, the flowerless acorns, and the sweet tulip flowers. The combination of these 3 medicinal herbs is just enough to cure Elder Yu's poison. Long Yu's eyes shone brightly. Since that's the case, I'll head into the depths of the soaring serpent abyss first and search for these 3 medicinal herbs by myself. As he continued to run, he soon entered a shadowy forest and disappeared into the shadows. The dense forest in the shadows was already within the boundaries of the soaring serpent abyss. Long Yu carried Yu Shuiyun forward quickly. With his proficient skills and rich experience, it was very easy for him to avoid being hunted down in such a shadowy forest. As he ran, the Cosmos Dragon Spear in his hand became hotter and hotter. It emitted waves of gloomy black light, as if it had become a long spear that had emerged from the depths of hell. The Cosmos Dragon Spear was dyed in blood, and it actually underwent some kind of strange transformation. However, Long Yu did not know whether this transformation was good or bad. No, it's too hot. I need to find a place to rest first. Long Yu felt the temperature of the Cosmos Dragon Spear in his hand. It was actually so hot that he almost could not hold it anymore. He looked around and quickly found a small cave. He brought Yu Shuiyun into it, and then moved a huge boulder over with great force. He completely blocked the entrance of the cave, leaving only a small gap for ventilation. Immediately after, he leaned Yu Shuiyun against the stone wall of the cave and let him rest. Meanwhile, he placed the Cosmos Dragon Spear on the ground and carefully observed its changes. The Cosmos Dragon Spear is dyed in blood. I wonder what kind of transformation it will undergo. Long Yu frowned slightly. In the dark cave, he could see that the surface of the Cosmos Dragon Spear was dyed in blood. It was emitting a dark glow and appeared extremely strange. Under the influence of Long Yu's blood and the aura of the depths of hell, the Cosmos Dragon Spear was currently undergoing a double transformation. Clang, clang, clang. A series of metallic vibrations came from the Cosmos Dragon Spear, causing the dark glow on the surface of the Cosmos Dragon Spear to gradually subside. Lines of black vein patterns were actually imprinted on the Cosmos Dragon Spear, just like that. The tip of the spear turned pitch black. The shaft of the spear was engraved with lines of black vein patterns. This Cosmos Dragon Spear has actually become a bit like the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds. Long Yu sensed the faint aura of the depths of hell emanating from the Cosmos Dragon Spear, causing him to feel slightly expectant. It seemed that the might of the Cosmos Dragon Spear had increased. He held in his hand and finally didn't feel as if it was scalding hot. A wave of aura of the depths of hell immediately wrapped around his entire body from the spear handle. Combined with the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds, this wave of aura of the depths of hell made Long Yu feel refreshed. Its might has indeed increased. A bright light flashed in Long Yu's eyes. Immediately after, he channeled the profound energy in his body into the Cosmos Dragon Spear, instantly activating the black vein patterns that had appeared on the surface of the Cosmos Dragon Spear. Layers of spear shadows. With a stern shout, Long Yu wielded the spear and instantly stabbed the ground of the cave several dozen times. A terrifying momentum that could suppress the heavens, accompanied by the strange aura of the depths of hell, surged out from the tip of the spear and instantly blasted a 10 feet deep pit into the ground of the cave. It actually has the strength of 1,500 fierce horses. A look of pleasant surprise appeared on Long Yu's face. Originally, if he used the Cosmos Dragon Spear in conjunction with the momentum of heaven and earth to unleash the layers of spear shadows, he would at most have the strength of 1,000 fierce horses. But now, after the Cosmos Dragon Spear had been dyed in blood and transformed, the final might of his spear technique had suddenly increased by more than 50%. From now on, I'll call you the 9 Underworld's Dragon Spear. Long Yu gripped the spear tightly and waved it a few times. He discovered that he could also choose whether or not to activate the black vein patterns on the 9 Underworld's Dragon Spear. If he activated it, when he used his spear technique, it would be imbued with the aura of the depths of hell, increasing the final might of his spear technique by 50%. If he didn't activate the black vein patterns, the might of the 9 Underworld Dragon Spear will be exactly the same as the original Cosmos Dragon Spear. It's just that this spear has an additional activation function, just like the dragon seal of the 9 Underworlds. Chapter 79. Following this dragon roar, Long Yu's heart suddenly jumped. This is resonance? No, I feel that this 9 Nether Dragon Spear seems to be able to sense my thoughts. Long Yu's eyes lit up. Could it be that his compatibility with the 9 Nether Dragon Spear had increased by another level? Swish, swish. Long Yu waved the spear in his hand twice, and immediately felt that the 9 Nether Dragon Spear was even more in line with his intentions. As Long Yu willed it, the 9 Nether Dragon Spear would be able to understand his intentions. Whether it was activating the 9 nether lines on the spear shaft, or using profound chi to unleash the heaven-suppressing spear technique, the speed would become extremely fast. If Long Yu originally needed a breath of time to unleash the spear shadows, then it could be said that he didn't need any time at all. With a single thought, layers of spear shadows would attack. The compatibility of the war weapon, other than the resonance stage at the beginning, is the spirit communication stage. Long Yu remembered what Old Bai had said before. After reaching the spirit communication stage, the war weapon and the master's thoughts will be completely compatible. With just a thought, the master will be able to use the war weapon to unleash a martial skill at an extremely fast speed. And this is not the most important change after reaching the spirit communication stage. The most important thing is that if the master and the war weapon are connected, as long as they inject profound chi into the war weapon, they will be able to control the war weapon from a distance. Simply put, once the master and the war weapon were connected, then in theory, they would be able to kill people from 1,000 miles away. Of course, this was only in theory. In reality, controlling the war weapon from a distance consumed a lot of profound chi. Unless it was a critical moment, no one would let the war weapon leave their hands. Reverse scale touch, 9 nether dragon spear. What are you trying to tell me? Long, you seem to have heard the voice coming from the 9 nether dragon spear. The 3 words reverse scale touch made him slightly puzzled. However, after carefully sensing the will of the 9 nether dragon spear, his eyes lit up. The dragon has a reverse scale. Touching it means death. I am a 9 nether dragon spear's reverse scale. Once I communicate with the 9 nether dragon spear, I will be able to use the reverse scale touch martial skill. As long as the 9 dragon spear was stained with Long Yu's blood, it would be able to unleash this spiritual communication martial skill. Its power was even stronger than the layers of spear shadows that he had comprehended from the heaven-suppressing spear technique. Let me see how powerful this reverse scale tentacle is. Long Yu raised his hand and bit a small wound on his finger. Then, he threw it at the 9 nether dragon spear. A dragon's cry that seemed to come from the 9 underworlds came from the 9 underworld dragon spear. The 9 underworld's runes on the spear were activated and merged with Long Yu's worldly power. The spear stabbed toward the cave. Touch of reverse scale. A dragon has a reverse scale. Touching it means death. With a loud bang, Long Yu stabbed down with his spear, and on top of the previous 10 feet deep pit, another 20 feet deep pit was created. The strength of 1,800 horses. Long Yu's face revealed a happy expression. Touch of reverse scale. This martial skill that was created from the 9 nether dragon spears, spiritual communication martial skill, was indeed stronger than the layers of spear shadows. Moreover, this was not the strongest power of the touch of reverse scale. If Long Yu did not throw out blood himself, but was injured by an enemy, then the power of the touch of reverse scale would be even stronger. He could not stay in this small cave for the time being. After all, Long Yu had caused too much of a commotion, so it was not suitable to stay. Long Yu held the 9 nether dragon spear and left the cave with Yu Shuiyun's unconscious body. He continued to head towards the depths of the soaring serpent abyss. Thinking back to when Long Yu had just stepped onto the martial path, he could only display 1 to 2,000 pounds of strength, which was equivalent to the strength of 1 or 2 horses. But now, when he attacked with his spear, he had the strength of 1,000 horses. Compared to when he had just stepped onto the martial path, he was several hundred times stronger. And the 9th stage of the martial path was only the beginning of the martial path. If he stepped into the true spirit realm, what kind of tyrannical strength would he have? When Long Yu headed towards the depths of the soaring serpent abyss, everyone in the Jintian clan was in an uproar. The news of Long Yu killing Elder Yu Shuiyun had spread throughout the Jintian clan. Right now, everyone in the Jintian clan was discussing the matter of Long Yu. In the core disciples' residence, several core disciples gathered together to discuss Long Yu. That Long Yu defeated Ian and gave us the opportunity to enter the sect to cultivate. I was originally very grateful to him, but I never expected him to be such a person. That's right, he actually took advantage of Elder Yu's unconscious state, and when Lu Guanming went out to eat to murder Elder Yu. This is really incomprehensible. However, I'm thinking, could it be that Elder Wu Jianxin is deliberately framing him? After all, don't talk nonsense. That Long Yu wanted to harm Elder Yu. More than 100 people saw it. How could Wu Jianxin frame him? In the end, the few of them only felt pity and disdain towards Long Yu. After all, everyone knew that Elder Yu had saved Long Yu's life, but Long Yu is ungrateful and wanted to harm Elder Yu. This kind of behavior was not pleasing to the eye. At the peak of the Suppression Canyon, Old Bai and Old Hay were still playing chess as they guarded the Suppression Canyon. As for Liao Lele, he was pacing around anxiously. Old Bai, tell me, how could Long Yu possibly harm Elder Yu? I'm sure that Elder Wu is trying to frame Long Yu. Old Bai, think about it. Long Yu has a grudge against Luo Tai Long, and he even chased Yin away from the Sect Valley. Luo Tai Long and Yin are both Wu Jinxin's disciples, so Wu Jinxin must have a motive for wanting to harm Long Yu, right? Moreover, Senior Brother Bu said that Long Yu arrived first and blocked 3 saber rays for Elder Yu. It was a sneak attack from the Broken Saber sect that wanted to harm Elder Yu. I heard that Elder Wu and Elder Yu's relationship isn't very good. Maybe. However, no matter what Liao Lele said, Old Bai and Old He remained unmoved. As the guardian elders of the heaven-suppressing sect, the 2 elders had experienced too many things. Now, it was very difficult for anything to affect their state of mind. Lele, calm down. Old Bai smiled amiably and said lightly, Long Yu is still alive, isn't he? Furthermore, he even brought Elder Yu away. Perhaps he had his own methods? You could just wait and see. But are we just going to do nothing? Liao Lele said through gritted teeth. It's not time for us to take the field yet. Old Bai said calmly. Liao Lele furrowed her brows. It's not time for us to take the field yet? What did that mean? Liao Lele couldn't figure it out. After all, she knew too little. At the same time, in the Jintian clan's sect master hall, Bu Fong in a tight black outfit was talking to the sect master by Yunzong. Master, that's what happened. I chased after him, but he was the #1 core disciple of the Broken Saber sect, Duan Mia. Bu Fong frowned and said, I couldn't do anything to him, but he couldn't do anything to me either. I was worried about Junior Marshal Brother Long Yu, so I retreated. Who would have thought that I was still a step too late? Junior Marshal Brother Long Yu has already left with Elder Yu. He was forced to leave by Wu Jinxin, but I didn't expect him to be able to escape when Wu Jinxin was trying to kill him. Bai Yunzong sat on a chair with his brows tightly furrowed. He wrapped the edge of the table with one hand. Originally, I wanted to save him, but the situation back then, even I was frozen by that strange aura. It was truly puzzling. Either way, that strange aura is Junior Brother Long Yu's secret. It should be related to his father. Bu Fong said. However, Wu Jinxin's actions were too arbitrary. He didn't respect Master at all. Besides, Wu Jinxin was nearby at the time. Logically speaking, he should have noticed Duan Mie's presence. That's right. There's something suspicious about Wu Jinxin. Bai Yunzong nodded and flicked his mustache. This Wu Jinxin had a grudge against Yu Shuiyan. They fought each other countless times when they were young, and only calmed down after he became an elder. Who would have thought? Bai Yunzong knocked on the edge of the table as he spoke. His eyes flickered with wisdom. As the sect leader, he was well aware of the personalities and past of the elders in the Elder Pavilion. Furthermore, he was able to deduce the basic truth of the events that had transpired. Bai Yunzong naturally took good care of Long Yu. However, Bai Yunzong did not step forward to exonerate Long Yu, as he did not have any evidence. Even though he was the sect leader, it was difficult for him to convince the people of the sect. He was still observing the situation from behind the scenes, waiting for the right moment to make his move. Wu Jinxin had been chasing after Long Yu for an entire day, but he still failed to catch up to him. Thus he was extremely furious. After he returned, he issued a new mission to all the core disciples of the Jintian clan. The original mission was to enter the depths of the soaring serpent abyss and collect 3 types of medicinal herbs, but now it had changed to finding Long Yu and Elder Yu Shuiyan. Since Yu Shuiyan had been taken away by Long Yu, it was useless for them to collect the 3 types of medicinal herbs. The most important thing now was to find Long Yu's whereabouts. Those who find Long Yu will be considered as a contribution and will be rewarded with a high-ranked combat weapon. Those who kill Long Yu will be considered as a great contribution and will be rewarded with a supreme combat weapon. In order to kill Long Yu, Wu Jinxin had put in a lot of effort and even promised a supreme combat weapon as a reward. This naturally made the core disciples of the Jintian clan go crazy. At the entrance of the soaring serpent abyss, the purple-robed law enforcement elder, Tan Wuchuan, brought along the red-robed Luo Tai Long and his follower Meng Su. According to my understanding of that Long Yu, He should be in the depths of the soaring serpent abyss right now, trying to find the 3 types of medicinal herbs to save Yushuayan. Tan Wuchuan looked at the shady bushes and said calmly. Luo Tailong's face was ferocious. This time, I must find him and tear him into pieces. This time, with Elder Tan here, wouldn't it be easy to kill that guy? The elegant Meng smiled flatteringly at the side. Ever since his high-ranked combat weapon was shattered by Long Yu's spear, Meng Su had lost his confidence and was even more obedient to Luo Tailong. Cut the crap, let's go. Tan Wuchuan ignored Meng Su. The first time he met Long Yu was in the soaring serpent abyss. At that time, Long Yu had killed his disciple, Qin Tianke. Long Yu, I will also end your life in the soaring serpent abyss as a sacrifice to Tianke. Chapter 80. In the bamboo forest where the Elder Pavilion was located, beside the collapsed bamboo house of Elder Yu, the black-faced brawny man, Lu Guanming, was kneeling in front of the door with a face full of remorse. Master, I, Lu Guanming, am useless. I couldn't stop you from being taken away. Lu Guanming let out a long sigh and blamed himself. There were a few core disciples of the Jintian clan standing behind him. They were all good friends of Lu Guanming. One of them suggested, I just found out that Long Yu crippled Senior Ling Lai's arm in Jade Pass City. Now, Ling Lai's master, Elder Zheng, is furious. Why don't we look for Elder Zheng and ask him to look for Long Yu with us? When the other person heard this, his eyes lit up. That's right. Although Elder Zheng is only enforcement elder, his martial arts realm has already stepped into the true spirit realm. With Elder Zheng here, once we find Long Yu, we will definitely be able to capture him. All right, let's do as you say. I, Lu Guanming, am not good with words, so I will have to rely on you guys. Lu Guanming stood up and said hatefully, Senior Brother Lu, don't worry. As fellow disciples, we will definitely advance and retreat together. The core disciple who made the suggestion rolled his eyes and said, however, I heard that Long Yu has quite a few good things on him. For example, that pair of boots, that spear. Lu Guanming immediately said, if we can really find Long Yu and save my master, I, Lu Guanming, will not take any of those things. That's good. That person laughed. If that's the case, Senior Brother Lu, you will definitely be able to convince Elder Zheng to join us, just because you are Elder Yu's disciple. All right, let's go. Lu Guanming's face was filled with hatred as he turned around and left. He didn't seem to notice that his fellow disciples were just making use of him. At this moment, in the depths of the soaring snake abyss, Long Yu held the 9 Abyss Dragon Fist in one hand, and Yushuaiyun in the other, as they quickly entered the depths of the soaring snake abyss. The current him couldn't be compared to the past. If he were to encounter another soaring serpent king, he would be able to kill it with a casual strike of his spear, and it was even to the extent that he would only need to unleash the might of the world to completely suppress it. However, now that he was in the depths of the soaring serpent king, he might encounter even stronger beasts. He might even encounter powerful beasts that had condensed their true spirits. Although the Heaven Dragon Spear had evolved into the 9 Darkness Dragon Spear and was compatible with him, Long Yu wasn't very confident that he could fight against a true spirit realm expert. This was because, apart from basic strength, the most important change in the true spirit realm was the formation of the true spirit realm. With a true spirit, Long Yu's advantage in comprehending the force of heaven and earth would disappear. If I were to encounter an expert like Wang Tianjua, it's still unknown who would emerge victorious. Long Yu thought to himself as he advanced even more cautiously in the dense forest. Suddenly, he heard the sound of a waterfall from afar and walked towards it. This was because he had deliberately studied the 3 types of herbs when he received the mission. Among them, the one that could refresh one's mind was the dragon head grass, and it grew near the water. With the waterfall, there was a chance that he could find the dragon head grass and try to restore Yushuaiyun's consciousness. He quickly ran towards the source of the sound of the waterfall, and at the same time, he did not forget to conceal himself. He knew very well that the Jintian clan must have sent out many people to search for his whereabouts. There's someone here. I need to hide first. Long Yu activated his Xian Qi and used the phantom flash. His body turned into a phantom, and he silently hid in the shadows of a thicket. As the sound of the waterfall grew louder, the conversation between the two young men gradually entered Long Yu's ears. I finally found the dragon head grass. It really wasn't easy. Senior Brother Zhang, why do you think our sect issued a mission to collect so many dragon head grass, flowerless acorns, and sweet currant flowers? Junior Brother Li, you still don't know? Our Breaking Blade sect's elder Wu has a long-standing grudge with an elder surnamed Yu from the Jintian clan. Now, that elder Yu has been poisoned by the Thousand Thread sect's entangling shadow poison. If we collect all 3 herbs, that elder Yu will be incurable. It's actually the entangling shadow poison. I heard that this kind of poison can cause a person to lose consciousness and corrode their dantian and meridians. It's really too vicious. It's him who's been poisoned anyway. No matter how vicious it is, what does it have to do with us? Let me count the days. In 7 days, that elder Yu will die from the poison. At that time, our elder Wu will be in a good mood and will definitely give us more rewards. I think that the poison is most likely going to act up soon. In the depths of the soaring serpent abyss, these 3 herbs are already extremely rare. Now that our Breaking Blade sect's disciples have collected most of them, where else does the Jintian clan want to collect them from? The 2 young men chatted as they walked. They never thought that someone would be eavesdropping on them. Long Yu hid to the side and listened to their conversation. He immediately learned a lot of things. It turned out that Elder Wu from the Breaking Blade sect had a grudge with Yu Shuiyun. If that was the case, then the 3 shadows that tried to assassinate Yu Shuiyun were sent by Elder Wu. Furthermore, not only did Elder Wu send people to assassinate Yu Shuiyun, but he also issued a mission for the Breaking Blade sect to collect the 3 herbs first. Wu Jinxin issued a mission for core disciples to collect herbs. It's been too long since Elder Yu was saved from being poisoned. Could it be that this matter has something to do with Wu Jinxin? Could it be that Wu Jinxin is deliberately stalling for time so that the Breaking Blade sect can collect all the herbs? Long Yu secretly guessed. He soon noticed that the Breaking Blade sect's senior brother Zhang and junior brother Li were both in the 9th layer of the martial path. Most importantly, they had 2 stalks of dragon head grass. 2 guys in the 9th layer of the martial path. With my current strength, I should be able to deal with them easily. Long Yu thought to himself as he quietly put Yu Shuiyun down. He then grabbed the 9 nether dragon spear and turned into a specter as he charged toward the 2 Breaking Blade sect disciples. Who's there? The 2 Breaking Blade sect disciples were worthy of being experts in the 9th layer of the martial path. They sensed Long Yu when he was within 10 feet of them. It's just a Jintian clan disciple in the 8th layer of the martial path. Kill him. Senior Brother Zhang was slightly stronger. He could see through Long Yu's cultivation with a single glance. He roared and charged at Long Yu with a broken black saber in his hand, shouting to kill the moment we meet. How rude of the Breaking Blade sect. Long Yu chuckled. He turned into a specter and appeared in another direction. He held the 9 nether dragon spear and stabbed at junior brother Li, who was still in the same spot. Senior brother Zhang's target was Long Yu's afterimage. Layers of spear shadows. Long Yu's spear was infused with the power of heaven suppressing. Suddenly, dozens of spear shadows pierced forward. Broken saber, horizontal. Junior brother Li reacted quickly, but it was too late for him to dodge. He could only brace himself and hold the broken black saber in front of his chest as he circulated his Xian Qi. A layer of saber light barrier instantly condensed in front of him in an attempt to block Long Yu's layers of spear shadows. However, in the next moment, before the spear shadows arrived, the heaven-suppressing power that enveloped the sky had already shattered the layer of saber light barrier into pieces. Die! 9 nether chi spread out, accompanied by the power of heaven and earth, causing the Xian Qi in junior brother Li's body to stagnate. He was unable to take any measures and could only watch as the spear shadows attacked. Pooh! 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 The layers of spear shadows pierced several holes in junior brother Li's body, causing him to stare blankly as he fell to the ground with blood gushing out. Until the moment he died, he never expected that a mere Zhentian clan disciple at the 8th level of the martial path would be able to kill him in one move. Senior brother Zhang cursed inwardly after he destroyed Long Yu's afterimage. When he turned around, he only saw the scene of his junior brother dying under the layers of spear shadows. He couldn't help but widen his eyes in anger. How dare you kill a disciple of my broken saber sect? You deserve to die. Senior brother Zhang waved the broken black saber in his hand and slashed 3 times in the air. Suddenly, 3 saber lights attacked Long Yu. 3 graceful saber strikes. Bang, bang, bang. 3 saber flashes whistled through the air. They came from the front, left, and right, attacking Long Yu from 3 different directions at an extremely fast speed. Nether Dragon Leap. Long Yu swung the 9 Nether Dragon Spear in his hand. Suddenly, a gust of air swept his body hundreds of meters into the air. Swish! Long Yu was swept up by the gust of air. Netherworld aura filled the tip of his spear. In an instant, he jumped out of the forest and saw a bright moon hanging in the sky. As the moonlight sprinkled down, the depths of the soaring serpent abyss was bathed in silver light. Kill! Long Yu swung his spear, and his body descended like a meteor. The tip of his spear was pointed at Senior Brother Zhang of the Broken Saber sect. Senior Brother Zhang was wondering where Long Yu had jumped to. How could he have imagined that Long Yu could jump so high? When he saw Long Yu's figure descend from the trees, the black ripples on the spear reflected the moonlight. It was already too late for him to dodge. After the Qian Dragon Spear evolved into the 9 Nether Dragon Spear, the Heaven Dragon Leap also changed accordingly. It could be called the Nether Dragon Leap. In an instant, he could jump hundreds of meters. General momentum, suppress. Following Long Yu's shout, the long spear suddenly pierced into the ground. Senior Apprentice Brother Zhang, at the crucial moment, actually moved a step to the side, not being pierced by the long spear. Even so, the gust of wind generated by the spear still sent Senior Brother Zhang flying. He crashed heavily into a thick tree trunk, knocking it down. Even though he had not been stabbed by the spear, Senior Brother Zhang still felt dizzy and his vision blurred. Long Yu took a step forward and finished him off with a single thrust of his spear. He then snatched the dragon head grass from Senior Brother Zhang's chest. The dragon head grass is in my hands. There's hope for Elder Yu to wake up. Long Yu took 2 stalks of dragon head grass. As for the corpses of the 2 Broken Saber sect disciples, he couldn't be bothered with them. He returned to his original spot and helped Yu Shuiyun up. His footsteps were light as he leapt away, soon disappearing from sight. Such an intense battle would definitely attract the attention of nearby people. If Long Yu wanted to save Yu Shuiyun, he had to find another safe place. Soon, he arrived at the bottom of the waterfall. This dragon head grass can be consumed directly. I'll smash it first, then mix it with water for Elder Yu to drink. Chapter 81. After mixing the dragon head grass with water and feeding it to Elder Yu, Long Yu moved his body to the bushes at the side. After consuming the dragon head grass, with its medicinal power, Elder Yu should be able to wake up. However, the damage to his meridians and dantian cannot be healed for the time being. As Long Yu thought about it, he ran back to the river under the waterfall, preparing to drink some water. But right at this moment, he suddenly felt a trace of concealed, killing intent coming from the river and actually enveloped his entire person within it. Who is it? Long Yu's heart trembled, and he immediately became vigilant. Within the killing intent, there is a cold and fiendish aura mixed with it. Furthermore, there is a fishy smell. Could it be a fierce beast? Long Yu secretly guessed. If it was a fierce beast, could it be a fierce beast that had condensed a true spirit? If that was the case, with Long Yu's current strength, he did not have much confidence in winning. Long Yu did not act rashly and only tightened his right hand that was holding the 9 Nether Dragon Spear. Hiss hiss. Suddenly, a sound that sounded like a poisonous snake hissing entered Long Yu's ears, causing him to suffocate. The profound energy in his body actually stopped because of that hissing sound. Dantian pulse. With a thought, Long Yu's tempered Dantian immediately pulsed, allowing the stagnant, profound energy to once again be transported to his entire body. Immediately after, he felt danger coming from the water, heading straight for his face. He did not even see the other party's form. Relying on his intuition of danger, he swept out the 9 nether dragon spear in his hand. Layers of spear shadows. The heaven-suppressing great power came out with a loud bang, stabbing out dozens of spear shadows, completely blocking the space in front of Long Yu. If he wanted to attack him, he would have to break through his layers of spear shadows. Even a martial cultivator at the 9th level of the martial Dao would not be able to do so. Hiss. The strange hissing sound of a venomous snake reverberated throughout the entire arena. A gigantic, pitch-black venomous snake leapt out of the water and lunged at Long Yu. At the same time, a tyrannical pressure was suddenly emitted from the body of the giant poisonous snake. Then, the shadow of a strange grass condensed behind the giant poisonous snake. True spirit. It's actually a true spirit of a small grass. Long Yu was greatly shocked. He never thought that under this waterfall, he would actually encounter a powerful demonic beast that had condensed a true spirit. Although he didn't know what Xiao Chao's true spirit was, Long Yu could feel the tyrannical pressure coming from it. It actually made him feel as if he had fallen into a swamp, and he was almost unable to move. Boom! With a loud bang, the giant viper swung its thick tail and immediately broke Long Yu's heavy spear shadows. As for the great momentum of the world that Long Yu had condensed, it was also swept away by the tail, and it was almost completely defeated. So powerful! Long Yu gritted his teeth and subconsciously wanted to use his movement skill, but he found that all the Xianqi in his body was entangled by the aura emitted by the true spirit of the other party, and he couldn't use it at all. This true spirit of the small grass is much stronger than Wang Tianjue's Tiger King true spirit. Whether it was movement skill or other martial arts, Long Yu couldn't use any of them at this moment. Even with the demon vanquishing tyrant body, he was sure that at this moment, he absolutely couldn't resist the attack of the giant viper in front of him. Hiss. Seeing that Long Yu couldn't move, the giant viper seemed to be extremely proud of itself. As it hissed, it looked at Long Yu with its scarlet eyes. Soon, perhaps it felt that there was nothing worth studying about Long Yu. It immediately hissed again, and its entire body jumped out of the water, completely black. As it spiraled and wriggled, it was actually more than 200 feet long. Actually, when Long Yu saw the snake's head that was even larger than his entire body, he was able to guess its approximate size. However, now that he saw its entire body, he couldn't help but sigh with emotion. This fellow probably doesn't even need any tricks. He can directly wrap me with his strength and crush my internal organs. Not to mention, he has actually condensed a strange true spirit of the small grass. Long Yu's mind raced. At this moment, was there really no other way? Could it be that he had to pierce the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds in his chest again? Just as he was deep in thought, the giant venomous snake grew impatient. It spat out its scarlet tongue, and Long Yu's figure was reflected in its snake eyes. Then, it used its entire tongue to bite Long Yu. Is it over? Long Yu's pupils constricted. Just as he was thinking about this, he suddenly felt that the Xian-Qi in his body that had been frozen suddenly unbound, and he could actually use it. This discovery made him overjoyed. Almost immediately, he circulated his Xian-Qi and displayed the peak realm of Wind Flash Step. After leaving an afterimage on the spot, he instantly retreated 3 large steps, a distance of 100 feet. Boom! The giant viper bit on a Long Yu's afterimage, instantly shattering the afterimage. Following that, it bit onto a huge rock that was as big as a person by the side of the water, shattering the huge rock into pieces. Rubble fell in all directions, scattering all over the ground. As for Long Yu, he transformed into a ghost and hid in the shade of a tree at the side. He carefully observed the scene and saw a scene that made him happy. He saw a translucent, true spirit palm imprint appear out of thin air by the side of the water, confronting the giant viper's true spirit of the grass. Elder Yu, you're awake. Long Yu immediately knew what was going on, but he didn't make a sound. Now that the giant viper was using the true spirit of the grass to fight against Yu Shuiyun's true spirit palm imprint, it let out a series of hissing sounds. It looked like both sides were evenly matched. Long Yu was currently hiding in the dark. If he grasped the opportunity, he would definitely be able to kill the giant viper in one fell swoop. Yu Shuiyun had awakened. Although his meridians and dantian had not been healed, and he was unable to use any martial skills, he was still an expert of the true spirit realm. Other than martial skills, Yu Shuiyun could also use his true spirit. Immediately, he used the power of suppression to fight against the giant viper's true spirit, saving Long Yu's life from the snake's mouth. The true spirit palm imprint contained an incomparably tyrannical suppression law. The moment it appeared, it completely suppressed the power of the true spirit of the grass. However, Yu Shuiyun had just woken up from his coma, so the power of the true spirit palm imprint was quite weak. The giant viper was caught off guard and was suppressed back, but then it used the strange power of the true spirit of the grass to firmly entangle the true spirit palm imprint's tyrannical suppression law. Even Yu Shuiyun's true spirit palm imprint seemed to have fallen into a swamp, unable to display its full strength. Long Yu hid to the side and carefully observed everything that was happening. He couldn't help but feel a chill in his heart. Just what kind of power did the true spirit of the grass contain? How could it be so strange and powerful? However, Yu Shuiyun's martial arts realm was after all stronger than the giant viper. At this moment, even if he was at a disadvantage in the battle of true spirits, he was still able to firmly suppress the opponent's true spirit of the grass. The strange power of the true spirit of the grass could no longer spread to the surroundings and affect Long Yu. Bastard, you've just condensed your true spirit and you want to fight with me, Yu Shuiyun? You must be tired of living. Yu Shuiyun's figure in a black robe finally appeared from the bushes. Long Yu's heart trembled. Looking over, he could clearly see the weak expression on Yu Shuiyun's face. However, it seemed as if she wanted to attract the attention of the gigantic viper, so he didn't hesitate to step forward. Hiss. When the giant viper saw Yu Shuiyun, it immediately understood that it was the illusory image of the true spirit condensed by the old man in front of it that was fighting against its true spirit of the grass. It spat out its scarlet tongue and slapped its tail on the shore. Its entire pitch-black body rushed towards Yu Shuiyun. Not good. Elder Yu's meridians and dantian have been poisoned. He can't use any martial skills, so he definitely can't resist this giant viper. Seeing this, Long Yu gritted his teeth. In a split second, he could only tightly grip the 9 nether dragon spear in his hand, and his dantian beat along with his heart. Dong, dong, dong. The beating of his dantian caused a profound chi in his body to boil and completely fuse into the tip of the 9 nether dragon spear. 9 nether dragon seal, activate. 9 nether dragon spear, 9 nether veins, activate. Long Yu used his profound chi to activate the 9 nether chi, and instantly, the entire 9 nether dragon spear appeared with the 9 nether chi, causing it to seem eerie and strange. An aura that seemed to come from the 9 nether springs was instantly transmitted out. Beastie my spear, layer upon layer of spear shadows. Long Yu took a step forward, and his body turned into a light breeze. With a long spear in his hand, he condensed the strength of 1,000 horses and pierced towards the giant viper that was galloping. Hiss. The giant viper roared, and its tail immediately swept towards Long Yu. However, its main body didn't care about Long Yu and continued to gallop towards Yu Shuiyun. From its point of view, Yu Shuiyun's threat was obviously much greater than Long Yu's. Bang! With a loud sound, Long Yu's numerous spear shadows were swept by the giant viper's tail and directly collapsed, scattering in all directions. Immediately after, the tail swept across Long Yu's waist. Puffed. Long Yu endured the huge force and immediately spat out a mouthful of blood, instantly dyeing the tip of the spear red. Now, spiritual communication, martial skill, touch of the reverse scale. Long Yu was swept by the giant viper's tail and spat out a mouthful of blood that sprinkled onto the 9 nether dragon spear, instantly activating the 9 nether dragon spear's spiritual communication, martial skill. An incomparably ferocious aura was emitted from the 9 nether dragon spear. Heaven suppressing great power. Touch of the reverse scale. The spear that was infused with Long Yu's strongest heaven-suppressing great power emitted a terrifying 9 nether chi and instantly pierced the giant viper's pitch-black body. Hiss, hiss, hiss. The giant viper was still in the process of galloping. It completely didn't expect that Long Yu would still be able to survive after being swept by its tail. Not only that, but he actually used an even stronger spear, with a terrifying strength that was almost twice as strong as the previous layers of spear shadows. The tip of the spear instantly pierced through its entire body. It let out a painful roar as its huge pitch-black body was blasted back by the huge force of the 9 nether dragon spear. It fell onto the shore and smashed into a pile of boulders. Long Yu stood with his spear in hand. His entire body was shrouded in a faint 9 nether chi, as if he was an emissary from the 9 nether yellow springs. However, the thick bloodstains at the side of his mouth let people know that he was seriously injured. Stinking brat, hurry up and take out this mutated Ouroboros' inner core. Once you consume it, you will be able to detoxify the poison. At the same time, you will also be able to increase your martial realm by another level. Chapter 82. When Long Yu heard Yu Shuiyun's words, he immediately reacted. Every demonic beast would have an inner core, and this inner core was the same as a martial cultivator's dantian. It was a place where they stored the energy they cultivated. However, the nature of demonic beast cultivation was different from that of martial cultivators. Martial cultivators transformed the heaven and earth spiritual chi into Xian chi and stored it in their dantian and meridians. Other martial cultivators were unable to absorb the Xian chi from martial cultivators because they would reject it. However, the energy cultivated by demonic beasts was known as demonic chi. Demonic chi could be absorbed by martial cultivators. Therefore, martial cultivators usually did not differentiate between demonic chi and heaven and earth spiritual chi. As long as they obtained the inner core of a demonic beast, they could absorb the demonic chi within to raise their martial realm. Of course, as the demonic beast died, the demonic chi within its inner core would gradually dissipate. The longer it died, the more demonic chi would dissipate. In this way, the only way to absorb more demonic chi was to take out the inner core of a demonic beast when it was just killed. When Long Yu heard Yu Shuiyun's words, he immediately endured the churning of his internal organs and walked to the collapsed, mutated Ouroboros. This huge black creature's body had been pierced through by Long Yu's spear, almost splitting it into two. From this, one could see how terrifying the 9 nether dragon spear's spiritual martial technique, the reverse scale touch, was. The inner core is at its abdomen. Luckily, it was nearly destroyed by the spear. Long Yu rejoiced in his heart as he hurriedly extended his hand into the broken part of the mutated Ouroboros. Not long after, a warm mutated Ouroboros' inner core was taken out by Long Yu. It was emitting a strange energy. Other than demonic chi, it actually contained heaven and earth spiritual chi that had not been absorbed. This mutated Ouroboros must have eaten a strange grass to be able to condense its true spirit. Yu Shuiyun's words came from behind Long Yu as her footsteps gradually approached. The strange grass's spiritual chi has not been completely absorbed by it. Now you're lucky. With the true spirit realm's mutated Ouroboros' inner core and the strange grass's spiritual chi, you should be able to smoothly advance. Elder Yu, do you know what the true spirit of that snake is? Long Yu pondered for a moment before asking. I don't know either. I've never seen such a stranger before. But you don't have to worry. Since the herb has already been swallowed by the mutant Ouroboros, it shouldn't cause any harm to you. Yu Shueyun said. Yes. Long Yu nodded and did not say anything else to Yu Shueyun. He held the inner core and ran to a nearby thicket. He found a secluded and safe spot and sat down cross-legged. He crushed the inner core with his teeth, then circulated the profound energy in his body and sucked all the demonic chi and spiritual chi contained in the inner core into his mouth. At the same time, the 9-nether dragon seal was activated and began to store the demonic energy and spiritual energy that he could not directly absorb. In addition to the high-grade pills stored in the 9-nether dragon seal, it was just right for him to break through to the 9th level of the martial Tao. Strange, why do I still feel the power of the grass? Long Yu frowned as he absorbed the demonic energy and spiritual energy. He felt that the strange power of the mutant Ouroboros' true spirit seemed to be transmitted from the inner core into his body. That strange power gave people the feeling that it was like a swamp. Once released, it would make people feel as if they had fallen into a swamp. Even moving would feel difficult. This was similar to the effect of the law of suppression, but it was different. If he could use it, it might be able to play a unique role in special situations. Let's ignore him for now. Right now, the most important thing is to step into the 9th level of the martial Tao. Long Yu put down his thoughts and began to circulate the profound energy in his body, preparing to break through the next checkpoint of the heavenly meridian. The heavenly meridian of the human body was connected to heaven and earth. It was an important existence that allowed one to feel the laws of heaven and earth. There were a total of 4 checkpoints in the heavenly meridian. When one broke through the first checkpoint of the heavenly meridian, they could step into the 7th level of the martial Tao. They could release their profound energy and initially sense the existence of the laws of heaven and earth. As a martial cultivator broke through more checkpoints of the heavenly meridian, the connection with the laws of heaven and earth would become stronger and stronger. The 7th level of the martial Tao allowed the heavenly meridian to have a point of connection with heaven and earth. The 8th level of the martial Tao allowed the heavenly meridian to have a line of connection with heaven and earth. If one broke through the 3rd checkpoint and stepped into the 9th level of the martial Tao, they would be able to connect the heavenly meridian with heaven and earth. At that point, they would be at the peak of the martial Tao, the 9th level. As long as they broke through the last checkpoint of the heavenly meridian, they would be able to connect the heavenly meridian with heaven and earth. By then, they would be able to condense a true spirit and borrow more of the laws of heaven and earth to reach the true spirit realm. Long Yu began to absorb the inner core to cultivate while Yu Shueyun stood guard by the side and rested. Although the poison elder had just woken up, he immediately realized the situation he was in. It was clear that he was experienced in fighting. At that moment, he was wearing a black robe and resting with his eyes closed. Suddenly, he felt some movement not far away, causing him to open his eyes. So it's 2 old acquaintances. Yu Shueyun's eyes flickered, but she didn't act rashly. Although she didn't know the reason, when the inner core was in Long Yu's hands, not even a trace of demonic chi or spiritual chi was emitted. At that moment, hiding in the thicket was extremely hidden, and it was almost impossible to attract the attention of others. As for Yu Shueyun himself, all his meridians and dantian were poisoned, and his profound chi was sealed, so it was even more impossible for others to notice him. At that moment, the 2 of them were a distance away from the water. The corpse of the mutated coiled serpent was lying by the water's edge, not taken care of. Not long after, 2 figures with powerful auras descended beside the corpse of the mutated coiled serpent at the same time. One of them had a dark face, a sturdy and short figure, like a black charcoal. It was Elder Wu Jianxin of the Jintian clan. The other person was wearing a black robe and hat. From his appearance, it could be seen that he was quite tall, but it was impossible to tell who he was. However, Yu Shuiyun could clearly tell his identity from his aura. Wu Jianxin is actually colluding with Wu Li. Yu Shuiyun sensed the aura of the two and quietly observed from the side, secretly starting to use her methods. Brother Wu, how is it going? Have you found any traces of old you? We haven't found them yet, but they have nowhere to run. Right now, the entire Jintian clan is looking for them. That's good. In the depths of the soaring serpent abyss, the 3 scented herbs have almost all been collected by our Broken Blade sect. According to the time, old you definitely won't be able to see the sun on the 7th day. However, this giant coiled serpent in front of us. Wu Jianxin seemed to be a little puzzled as he looked at the corpse of the giant coiled serpent. This coiled serpent seems to have been killed by a sharp weapon. This means that our Broken Blade sect has a true spirit realm disciple in the soaring serpent abyss. He has already collected the sweet currant flower and is on his way back. This coiled serpent should be killed by him. The black-robed elder Wu Li of the Broken Blade sect said in a relaxed manner, "All right, I won't be leaving for the next few days. I want to personally witness old Yu's death." Haha. Of course, the two of them didn't think that Long Yu and Yu Shuiyun, who was poisoned and couldn't use her cultivation, could kill this giant coiled serpent. Therefore, they didn't even have a trace of doubt in their minds. After talking for a while, the two of them left, allowing Yu Shuiyun to let out a sigh of relief. Luckily, Long Yu's martial realm is too low, so no one would suspect him. Otherwise, if they found him, he really wouldn't be able to escape. But now, Yu Shuiyun's eyes flashed. He clenched his right hand, and within it, there was a true spiritual imprint that recorded the conversation between Wu Jianxin and Wu Li. As long as he returned to the sect, Wu Jianxin's shady business would be exposed. The true spiritual imprint was a small technique that martial cultivators in the true spirit realm could use. It used the power of the true spirit to capture the scene in front of them and imprint it, including images, sounds, etc. At that time, as long as he crushed the true spiritual imprint, he would be able to reproduce the scene for everyone to see. Just now, the conversation between Wu Jianxin and Wu Li had been imprinted by Yu Shuiyun. At this time, Long Yu had reached a crucial moment in absorbing the coiled serpent's inner core. Vein of the Heavens, the 3rd checkpoint, break. The 9 underworld dragon seal contained a dense amount of heaven and earth spiritual chi, which was like a raging wave, crashed against the 3rd checkpoint of the Vein of the Heavens, finally causing it to shake. Once, twice, thrice. The dense amount of spiritual chi and demonic chi continued to crash against each other, turning into profound chi and becoming a part of Long Yu's strength. Break! Finally, Long Yu let out a roar in his heart, and the blockage in the Vein of the Heavens was finally broken. As the 3rd checkpoint of the Vein of the Heavens was broken, he instantly felt his connection with heaven and earth strengthen once again, to the point that there was only one last barrier left. If he broke through this barrier, he would be able to condense a true spirit and step into the true spirit realm. However, the amount of spiritual chi stored in the 9 underworld dragon seal was not enough. The total amount of spiritual chi needed to condense a true spirit was even more than the total amount of spiritual chi needed to advance from the 1st stage to the 9th stage of the martial Tao. Furthermore, other than spiritual chi, talent, and perception were more important. If one's talent and perception were insufficient, then even if they spent their entire lives, they would not be able to condense a true spirit. For example, the Tan family's ancestor who had died under Long Yu's fist. I finally reached the 9th stage of the martial Tao. The coiled serpent's inner core and the remaining spiritual chi of the grass are indeed extraordinary. Added together, it is equivalent to the effect of 10 high-grade medicinal pills. As Long Yu opened his eyes, a look of confidence could be seen in his eyes. As he stepped into the 9th stage of the martial Tao, his basic strength had increased to the strength of nearly 300 horses. If he used spear shadows or reverse scale touch, he would be able to release the strength of more than 2,000 horses with a single spear strike. If he didn't have the confidence to challenge an expert in the first stage of the true spirit realm before, then he finally had a certain level of confidence. Chapter 83. When Long Yu stepped into the ninth stage of the martial path, his basic strength had greatly increased. Not only that, the coiled serpent's venom that he was struck by with its tail had been completely removed after he consumed the coiled serpent's inner core. There were no longer any side effects. However, I seem to have gained some understanding of the strange power contained in the coiled serpent's true spirit. If I consolidate it, I might be able to display it directly like the heaven-suppressing intent. Long Yu thought to himself as he finally stood up. When he was breaking through to the ninth stage of the martial path, he sensed two people not far away. However, they did not come close, so he did not pay much attention to them. At this moment, he was a little curious. Who were those two people? He walked out of grass and saw Yu Shuai-yun in a black robe sitting cross-legged. "Little guy, you're finally out. You really didn't disappoint me. You finally stepped into the ninth stage of the martial path." Hearing Long Yu's movements, Yu Shuai-yun opened her eyes with a hint of praise. "It's all thanks to Elder Yu that I was able to kill that coiled serpent. Otherwise, I would have been buried in the serpent's stomach and become a delicious meal for that coiled serpent." Long Yu said with a smile. "All right, tell me what happened earlier. How'd I end up with you?" Yu Shuai-yun asked with a smile. "Before I fainted, I only vaguely saw Elder He rushing over. I don't know anything else. Also, why are you being targeted by Wu Jinxin? The entire Jintian clan is looking for us." Long Yu's heart trembled when he heard that. How did Yu Shuai-yun know that he was being targeted by Wu Jinxin? It seemed that the two people who had just arrived had said something to Yu Shuai-yun to roughly know the current situation. Following that, Long Yu recounted everything from the beginning. Of course, Long Yu omitted the matter of him returning to the Phone Clan and only talked about his visit to Yu Shuai-yun. Soon, Yu Shuai-yun roughly understood the situation. "So that's how it is. Wu Li, Wu Jinxin, they're really audacious to want to kill me in the Elder Pavilion." After Yu Shuai-yun heard what Long Yu had to say, a cold glint flashed in his eyes. "All right, little fellow, this old man has to thank you for saving my life. However, after this, Wu Jinxin and Wu Li can forget about escaping the Jintian clan's territory. Elder Yu, the poison in your body hasn't been detoxified yet. How can you be so confident in dealing with them?" Long Yu was a little surprised. "Aha, I've already imprinted the scene of the two of them meeting with my imprint of true spirit. However, this imprint of true spirit can only be released once. Therefore, I'll only release it at the most crucial moment. I believe that sect leader Bai has long since prepared for this." Yu Shuai-yun said confidently. "Sect leader Bai?" Long Yu frowned. White Cloud Track was ready. As the clan leader of the Jintian clan, Bai Yunzong would naturally not stand idly by and do nothing. "Well, what should I do now?" Long Yu asked. Since Yu Shuai-yun had a plan, there was no need for Long Yu to hide any longer. He might as well show himself earlier and subdue the culprit. As for the poison in Yu Shuai-yun's body, it would take some time before it took effect. If everything went smoothly, she would be fine. Now, let's return to the Jintian clan. I'd like to see how Wu Jinxin is going to face the Jintian clan after doing such a thing." Yu Shuai-yun flung her sleeves and turned around, walking in the direction of the Jintian clan. Long Yu followed closely behind. "Elder Yu, you can't use your martial skills now. Let me lead the way." After saying this, he turned into a gentle breeze and arrived in front of Yu Shuai-yun, leading the way. Seeing this, Yu Shuai-yun was extremely satisfied with Long Yu. His eyes flickered with approval. Such a talented, decisive young man would definitely not be any weaker than him in the future. "Elder, be careful." Long Yu quickly moved through the forest and soon sensed some movement in front of him, causing him to be on high alert. From the aura, it seems to be a disciple of the Broken Blade sect, first layer of the true spirit secret realm. Yu Shuai-yun narrowed her eyes and quickly obtained more information than Long Yu. True spirit secret realm experts had condensed their true spirits, so their senses were naturally stronger than normal martial cultivators. In this dense forest, as long as there was movement, they would be able to sense it easily. Now that Yu Shuai-yun had sensed the other party had also sensed him and Long Yu. The next moment, a cold saber light pierced through the forest and headed straight for Long Yu. Heaven-suppressing spear art. Long Yu shook the 9 nether dragon spear in his hand, and instantly, the heaven-suppressing aura spread out, shattering the cold saber light. Your Excellency, great spear skills. A loud laugh came from the forest in front of them, followed by a shout. However, against me, the soul-burying saber Lu Yi, only death awaits you. Soul-burying saber, Lu Yi. If one had some understanding of the Broken Blade sect, they would easily know that this Lu Yi was the 5th-ranked core disciple in the Broken Blade sect. He had already stepped into the True Spirit secret realm for more than half a year. He cultivated a transcendent martial skill, the soul-burying saber art. When he used it, it was enough to make gods and ghosts tremble in fear. Normally, as long as the Jintian clan disciples had not stepped into the True Spirit secret realm, they would be too scared to fight the soul-burying saber Lu Yi. However, Long Yu had no idea who this soul-burying saber Lu Yi was. He had no fear in his heart as he turned around and said to Yu Shuai-yun, "Elder Yu, let me deal with him alone." These words stunned Yu Shuai-yun. You're only in the 9th rank of the martial path. Without the help of my True Spirit secret realm, how can you fight against an expert from the True Spirit secret realm? Even if the opponent is only in the 1st rank of the True Spirit secret realm, his strength is still terrifying. Elder Yu, trust me. Long Yu yelled as his body turned into a light breeze. He sped towards the direction of the voice with the tip of his spear. Yu Shuai-yun nodded inwardly. This Long Yu is really courageous. If you can't do it, I'll help you. Yu Shuai-yun thought to herself and gave up on the idea of working together with Long Yu. As for Long Yu, he wielded the 9 nether dragon spear and stabbed towards the source of the voice with the heaven-suppressing aura. However, he found that he had stabbed empty air. The opponent was no longer far away. Not only that, even the heaven-suppressing aura he released did not suppress anyone. Haha, you're too slow. Soul-burying saber Lu Yi's arrogant laughter came from another direction. Graceful 3 strikes. For Lu Yi, it was too easy to deal with a mere 9th-rank Jintian clan disciple. And this person happened to be the guy that the Broken Saber sect's Elder Wu Li was looking for. If he could kill this person and capture the old man behind him who was poisoned and unable to use his qi, wouldn't that be a great merit? At this moment, Lu Yi was even thinking about what kind of reward she would receive. Although it's the same graceful 3 strikes, it's at the perfection realm. This speed is too fast. Long Yu's heart trembled. He turned around and saw 3 biting cold saber lights flying towards him. In the blink of an eye, they had already flown in front of him. The graceful triple saber was an extremely fast saber martial technique. With just a glance, 3 saber lights could kill 3 people. This was the essence of this saber martial skill. In martial skills, speed reigned supreme. Only speed could not be broken. Layers of spear shadows, break for me. Long Yu swept the 9 nether dragon spear horizontally and immediately condensed the heaven-suppressing aura. Layers of spear shadows swept out and immediately collided with the graceful 3 strikes in midair. Boom! After a loud explosion, the saber light and spear shadows dissipated at the same time. However, before Long Yu had time to rest, he felt a powerful force of heaven and earth descend from the sky, enveloping his entire body. This is the Broken Saber sect's mental cultivation technique, the heaven and earth force. Long Yu's heart trembled. He could only feel someone moving quickly nearby, but he couldn't see the opponent's figure at all. Broken Saber sect's mental cultivation technique, Broken Saber Walk. Yu Shuai-yun reminded him when she saw this. The concept of Broken Saber Walk is speed. A broken saber can slash through the world. Only speed cannot be broken. When he felt his speed being restricted by the swamp-like air, his expression instantly changed. But immediately after, the phantom of a broken saber condensed behind him. Even if you're a little strange, what can you do now that my true spirit of the broken saber has appeared? The soul-burying saber shouted, and his killing intent exploded. Soul-burying saber, you're already dead. Chapter 84. Long Yu released his dual concepts, heaven suppressing and withering swamp. The former suppressed, and the latter entangled. However, with the two combined, he was barely able to offset the soul-burying saber Lu Ye's broken saber momentum. Immediately after, Lu Ye's broken saber true spirit appeared, and a terrifying pressure swept out. The broken saber true spirit allowed Lu Ye's saber to reach another level of speed. He used the soul-burying saber technique, burying souls with each saber strike. Chaotic saber lights flashed from all directions, surrounding Long Yu. Every saber light contained a suffocating soul-burying aura, as if it wanted to completely bury one's soul. Layers of spear shadows. Facing the saber lights that came from all directions, Long Yu had no way to defend. He waved the 9 nether dragon spear above his head. Instantly, layers of spear shadows appeared and merged with the heaven-suppressing aura, creating a suppressive spear net. Layers of spear shadows appeared, and in an instant, with a violent force, all the saber lights above his head were blown away. Nether Dragon Leap. Immediately after, Long Yu's long spear danced, and a wave of netherworld airflow swept him up into the sky. Quang! Quang! The countless saber lights lost their target and collided with each other. A terrifying soul-burying aura erupted, causing the entire forest to lose its vitality. Seeing this, the soul-burying saber Lu Yi frowned. The shadow of the broken saber true spirit behind his back glowed, causing his figure under the black robe to appear unpredictable. Break for me. At this moment, Long Yu's spear came crashing down from above. The heaven-suppressing aura descended from the sky and instantly enveloped Lu Yi. Naive. Lu Yi sneered. The shadow of the broken saber true spirit behind his back waved and immediately moved towards Long Yu. In the next moment, boom, Long Yu's suppressive aura instantly exploded. The shadow of the broken saber true spirit actually blocked Long Yu's spear that descended from the sky. Moreover, a powerful soul-burying aura spread out and sent Long Yu flying far away. Bang! Long Yu fell heavily to the ground, knocking down 2 towering ancient trees. He spat out a mouthful of blood, seemingly heavily injured. Haha, a mere 9th-stage martial path cultivator dares to fight me. The broken blade, true spirit? You're courting death. The soul-burying saber, Lu Yi, laughed heartily. With the broken saber in his hand, he charged at Long Yu. However, he did not see the meaningful smile in Long Yu's eyes. Blood has finally dyed the 9 nether dragon spear. With a spear in hand, Long Yu barely managed to stand up. Netherworld chi rapidly gathered on the tip of his spear. Spiritual communication, martial skill, reverse scale touch. A dragon has a reverse scale. Touching it means death. When Long Yu was injured and the 9 nether dragon spear was stained with his blood, he would be able to use this spiritual communication martial skill. When the soul-burying saber, Lu Yi, wielded the broken saber and urged the broken blade true spirit to attack Long Yu. Not only did Long Yu not dodge, he even turned his head and thrust his spear. It was as if a 9 nether dragon was roaring. With a thrust of the spear, Long Yu's heartbeat and the 9 nether dragon spear were completely in sync. After the spiritual communication, he could use any spear technique with the 9 nether dragon spear, as long as he willed it. The 9 nether dragon's roar seemed to enter Long Yu's mind, causing him to seem to be one with the 9 nether dragon spear. I am the spear, and the spear is me. As the spear moved forward, the 9 nether aura exploded. Halfway through the soul-burying saber, Lu Yi, sensed that something was amiss and hurriedly stopped. However, it was too late to dodge. The reverse scale touch was extremely fast, even faster than Lu Ye's saberlight. The space was filled with 9 nether aura, as if the entire area had turned into the Yellow Springs. As for Long Yu's spear attack, it was as if the god of death had extended his hands towards Lu Yi. Circle dance, saber technique, defense. At the critical moment, Lu Yi brandished the broken saber in his hand and promptly used a supreme saber technique, defensive martial skill. Immediately, a barrier of saber light appeared in front of him. Clang! Before the tip of the spear had even arrived, the 9 nether aura that erupted had already shattered the saber light barrier. Immediately after, the 9 nether dragon spear carried a tyrannical force as it shot towards Lu Ye's face. True spirit, Lu Yi shouted as the broken saber, true spirit above his head immediately waved down and slashed down at the 9 nether dragon spear. Rumble. A loud sound rang out, causing a cloud of dust to scatter in all directions. The power of the true spirit was actually far from what a 9th level martial Dao could destroy. The 9 nether dragon spear was slashed down by the broken saber true spirit, causing the entire spear to tremble. Long Yu almost lost his grip on the spear shaft and almost lost it. The spiritual communication martial skill, the explosive power of the reverse scale touch, instantly spread out but was actually blocked by the broken saber true spirit. Cough cough. The soul-burying saber Lu Yi was forced to retreat more than 30 meters. Although he had blocked Long Yu's reverse scale touch, he was also in great pain. In particular, he felt that his broken saber true spirit was actually showing signs of collapsing. The true spirit wasn't an invincible existence. If it suffered too strong of an attack, it would collapse. Only when the martial cultivator completely recovered would it be able to condense it again. Of course, the collapse of the true spirit didn't mean that the martial cultivator would fall from the true spirit realm. It only meant that he would be temporarily unable to use the true spirit. As long as he rested for a period of time, he would naturally be able to condense it again. However, this period of time will be very long. I didn't expect that a 9th level martial Dao ant like you would be able to damage my true spirit to this extent. The soul-burying saber Lu Ye's deep voice sounded out. I admit that I underestimated you. However, what else can you do next? Watch my saber, soul-burying. The broken saber battle weapon in his hand suddenly erupted with a soul-burying aura, actually dispersing all the 9 nether aura in the vicinity. The soul-burying saber technique, soul-burying saber, a perfect stage, transcendent rank martial technique. Its power was definitely beyond Long Yu's imagination. If this saber were to fall, even if Long Yu used all his strength, he would definitely not be able to block it. However, before Lu Yi could unleash this slash, Long Yu had already launched an attack. 9 nether dragon fist, mimicking the Yellow Springs road, 9 nether aura, intimidating. Long Yu actually abandoned his spear and ran towards the willow leaf on foot. Immediately after, he brandished his fist, and a 9 nether aura simulated a Yellow Springs road, instantly enveloping the soul-burying saber Lu Yi. As Long Yu stepped into the 9th level of the martial Dao, the Yellow Springs road he simulated had a much stronger deterrent effect on the experts of the true spirit realm. Originally, in Jade Pass City, Long Yu had intimidated Wang Tianzhua with a punch, but the other party had woken up in a moment. But now, Long Yu's fist simulated the Yellow Springs and immediately enveloped the soul-burying saber Lu Yi, causing him to instantly lose consciousness. Furthermore, he would not be able to wake up for a while. Before Lu Ye's soul-burying saber was unleashed, Long Yu's fist arrived first. Bang! Although Lu Yi was intimidated by the Yellow Springs road, the broken saber true spirit behind it charged towards Long Yu, wanting to block Long Yu's punch. Get out of my way! Long Yu's fist smashed out, directly hitting the broken saber true spirit. Boom! The broken saber true spirit was actually dispersed by his punch. Following that, Long Yu's punch continued towards Lu Ye's chest. If Lu Yi had not been intimidated by the Yellow Springs and had taken the initiative to control the broken saber true spirit, then Long Yu would definitely not have been able to break through the true spirit's defense with his fist. But now that Lu Yi had lost consciousness, the broken saber true spirit became extremely fragile and was dispersed in an instant, just like how Long Yu had broken through Wang Tianjua's Tiger King true spirit pressure. This kind of dispersion was different from the dispersion of the true spirit. After the true spirit dispersed, it would take a long time to recover before it could continue to condense the true spirit. But if the other party was distracted and dispersed the true spirit, once the other party woke up, they could immediately condense the true spirit again. Therefore, this opportunity was extremely precious to Long Yu. 9 Nether Dragon Fist Break. Long Yu seemed to have become an emissary from the Yellow Springs. With a tyrannical 9 Nether Chi, his fist struck Lu Ye's chest. Bang! Lu Yi was directly sent flying by Long Yu's punch and slammed heavily into an ancient tree, smashing the thick trunk into pieces. However, after this punch, Long Yu was also knocked back several feet by the recoil, causing his expression to change slightly. Wearing a defensive combat weapon, Long Yu immediately guessed that his punch just now had actually landed directly on a golden armor. Most likely, it did not cause much damage to Lu Yi. On the contrary, Long Yu was actually rebounded by the golden iron battle armor, causing his internal organs to churn. Soon, Lu Ye's figure in a black robe slowly stood up from the ground. The black robe on his chest was shattered by the 9 Nether Chi, revealing a piece of golden iron defensive battle armor. Hee, Lu Yi sneered. I have to say, your strength has really exceeded my expectations. No wonder Elder Wu is so concerned about you. Unfortunately, from now on, you will not be able to break through my defense no matter what. And you will eventually die under my spirit burial saber. Is that so? Then, why don't you try this punch again? Long Yu took a step forward. The 9 Nether Dragon seal on his body had been completely activated, as if his whole body was immersed in the 9 Nether Yellow Springs. His eyes flashed with a ghostly light. His eyes seemed to have come from the Yellow Springs, causing people to tremble with fear. 9 Nether Dragon Fist, drunk lying in the Yellow Springs, I have finally reached the peak realm. After stepping into the 9th level martial Dao, Long Yu's understanding of martial skills had reached a new level. Coupled with that punch just now, it actually allowed his 9 Nether Dragon Fist first skill, drunk lying in the Yellow Springs, to have a breakthrough. What kind of terrifying power did a peak drunk lying in the Yellow Springs possess? He clenched his right fist tightly as the 9 Nether Chi gradually wrapped around his body. Step by step, Long Yu walked towards the soul burial saber Lu Yi. You still want to punch like that? It's a pity that I'm prepared, so it's impossible for me to be intimidated by you again. The soul burial saber Lu Yi sneered and said, After you die, I will definitely study this strange power in your body and bring it to greater heights. Now die. Then let's give it a try. Long Yu said expressionlessly as he stared at the soul burial saber Lu Yi. He clenched his right fist and actually punched the ground. This punch instantly stirred up the 9 Nether Chi around his body, causing Lu Yi to have a bad feeling. However, he did not take it to heart. Punching the ground? Don't make people laugh their heads off. The soul burial saber Lu Yi sneered as the broken saber's true spirit continued to appear. With the true spirit behind him, no matter what, he was already in an invincible position. Furthermore, his soul burial saber technique was not to be trifled with. Bang! Chapter 85. When Long Yu punched the ground, the soul-burying saber Lu Yi, who was about to slash at Long Yu, trembled. What's going on? The uneasiness in the soul-burying saber Lu Yi's heart grew stronger and stronger. However, he couldn't understand where this uneasiness came from. Could it be that Long Yu had transferred some kind of power through the ground when he punched the ground? Lu Yi's heart trembled, and he immediately wanted to jump up in an attempt to avoid the unknown danger. However, it was already too late when he reacted. A burst of netherworld chi condensed and exploded from under Lu Ye's feet, instantly enveloping his entire body. With a boom, the explosion was like a pillar of pitch-black magma. The pitch-black, strange, and eerie netherworld chi instantly swallowed Lu Ye's black-robed body. Even the broken saber phantom behind him was completely swallowed. There was no special sound. The condensation and explosion of the netherworld chi seemed so silent. Only Lu Ye's miserable screams could be heard, letting others know how much pain Lu Ye was suffering at this moment. The first technique of the nine-hell dragon fist, drunk lying in the yellow springs. As long as one cultivates it to the peak, one can punch the ground and connect to the yellow springs, triggering the netherworld chi. Long Yu stood not far away and quietly watched Lu Yi being engulfed by the netherworld chi. If an ordinary punch from the nine-hell dragon fist contained 1 portion of 9-hell chi, then the 9-hell explosion contained 10 portions or even 20 portions of 9-hell chi. With so much netherworld chi condensing and exploding, the power produced was definitely not something that Lu Yi, who had fought with Long Yu until he was exhausted, could withstand. Lu Ye's screams quickly turned from strong to weak until they completely disappeared. The netherworld chi gushed out from the ground and quickly dissipated in the air. Long Yu looked over and found that the soul-burying saber Lu Yi, who was enveloped by the netherworld chi, was corroded like a mummy by the netherworld chi. It was as if all the blood in his body had been sucked dry. This netherworld chi is truly sinister. It's 10 times stronger than an ordinary punch, and it's actually able to corrode one's entire body, turning one into a dried corpse. Seeing this, Long Yu shuddered. Even though he had seen many deaths at this moment, he was the one who had created such a horrifying way of death. This gave him a slightly bad feeling in his heart. If it wasn't necessary, it would be best to use this move as little as possible in the future. Dragon Fist of the 9 Underworlds, Dragon Seal of the 9 Underworlds. Dragon of the 9 Underworlds, what kind of existence are you? Also, Consort Yu, why did you carve the 9 Underworlds dragon mark on my chest? Long Yu couldn't figure it out no matter how hard he thought about it. This riddle could only be solved by continuously advancing along the path of martial arts. Good kid, you actually defeated an opponent from the True Spirit Secret Realm. Your talent far exceeds my imagination. Yu Shuiyun's surprised voice came from the side. Long Yu was pulled back to reality by his voice. With a slight frown, he ran to the corpse of the spirit burying Saber Lu Yi and flipped open his black robe. A dried flower that had been corroded by the netherworld chi appeared before his eyes. It was a Yuganhua. Unfortunately, the Yuganhua that had been corroded by the netherworld chi had no healing effects and could not be given to Yu Shuiyin. Elder Yu, it's a pity that this Yuganhua. Long Yu's face darkened. It's fine. What we need to do now is to quickly return to the Jintian clan, find a sect leader, and tell him everything. Yu Shuiyin, however, remained calm and did not mind. Even though his meridians and dantian had been poisoned, he was not anxious at all. Instead, he displayed his absolute trust in white cloud tracks. Long Yu also knew that there was no time to lose. He couldn't stay here for too long. Before he left, he flipped open the black robe of the spirit burying Saber Lu Yi and finally saw his face. There were indeed some traces of Lu Mingxian and Lu Mingsheng. It really is someone from the Imperial City's Lu family. Long Yu knew what was going on. The Imperial City's Lu family seemed to be quite powerful. The Ice Sect and the Breaking Blade Sect both had people from the Lu family. Not only that, they also seemed to have connections with the Wang family, one of the 4 great families of the Imperial City. Then, Long Yu stood up and walked in front of Yu Shuiyun toward the Jintian clan. I heard that the disciples of the Jintian clan are looking for me everywhere. If I see any Jintian clan disciple, I will kill them if they dare to stop me. Long Yu held the 9-hell dragon spear as a cold light flashed in his eyes. Right now, he had to make every second count. Even the disciples of the Jintian clan couldn't stop him. After all, Yu Shuiyun's life was at stake here. Even if White Cloud found out, he definitely wouldn't blame Long Yu. How could some ignorant Jintian clan disciples compare to Yu Shuiyan? Moreover, it wasn't that Long Yu didn't want to give them a chance. As long as they obediently moved aside, Long Yu wouldn't bother with them. Anyone with a discerning eye would probably understand what was going on if they saw Yu Shuiyun sober and following behind Long Yu. Soon, Long Yu led Yu Shuiyun dozens of miles in the direction of the Jintian clan. This was the boundary of the soaring snake abyss. It was impossible for the disciples of the Breaking Blade sect to appear here. Long Yu had just leaped over a huge rock when he suddenly heard the footsteps of a few people coming from the front. Are they disciples of the Jintian clan? Long Yu thought to himself as he pushed the bushes aside. Indeed, he saw 4 disciples of the Jintian clan looking for something in the bushes. Look, it's Long Yu. The 4 disciples of the Jintian clan immediately looked at Long Yu as if they had found a treasure. Their eyes lit up. Of these 4 people, 2 were in the 9th stage of the martial path, and the other 2 were in the 8th stage of the martial path. They were obviously core disciples, which was why they dared to come so close to the depths of the soaring snake abyss. If they went any further, they might encounter demonic beasts that had condensed their true spirit. Only death awaited them. They didn't dare to joke around with their lives. Elder Yu is here. I'm about to return to the sect to report to the sect master. Why aren't you guys moving aside? Long Yu said indifferently. Yu Shuiyun's black-robed figure appeared behind him. Move aside, return to the sect, and await further orders. Yu Shuiyun's voice entered the ears of the 4. When the 4 saw Yu Shuiyun and heard her voice, they couldn't help but be shocked. So it's Elder Yu. Since Elder Yu has already woken up, could there be some sort of misunderstanding? The 4 disciples looked at each other in dismay. At the same time, they recalled that when Elder Wu Jianxin issued the order, he said that Long Yu had kidnapped the unconscious Elder Yu and wanted to harm him. But now, Elder Yu had woken up. Furthermore, he was going to follow Long Yu back to the sect to report to the sect master. This gave them a rough idea of what was going on. One by one, they silently stepped aside. Even if they wanted to fight, with Elder Yu around, they were definitely not a match for him. Elder Yu, let's go. Long Yu turned his head and gestured to Yu Shuiyan. Then, he lifted his feet and continued walking in the direction of the Jintian clan. The 4 core disciples followed behind them from afar. They didn't want to miss a good show, because they had a vague feeling that something big was about to happen. There's someone in front. Long Yu was shocked when he heard the sound of people moving in front. He didn't expect that the Jintian clan disciples would enter the soaring serpent abyss to search with so many people. He would bump into them just by taking a few steps. Soon, he stepped out of the forest and saw them. The identities of these 3 people caused Long Yu to furrow his brows. Enforcement Elder Tan Wuchuan, the 6 core disciple Luo Tailong, and Luo Tailong's follower Meng Su. Look, it's Long Yu. When the refined Meng Su saw Long Yu, he immediately shouted out in surprise. It's really him. Luo Tailong looked over with a fierce glint in his eyes. I've finally found you after searching for so long. The purple-robed Tan Wuchuan looked at Long Yu indifferently and said, You scoundrel, where did you take Elder Yu? When Long Yu heard this, he laughed out loud. Isn't Elder Yu behind me? But he has already woken up. As he said this, Yu Shuiyun's black-robed figure appeared behind Long Yu. Tan Wuchuan felt a familiar aura. It really was Yu Shuiyun. Tan Wuchuan's originally indifferent expression became a little ugly. Elder Yu, this guy is insane. He wanted to assassinate you while you were unconscious. And you're still with him? Tan Wuchuan took a step forward and snorted. Get out of the way. Let me capture this guy and bring him back to the sect to punish him. When Yu Shuiyun heard this, she raised her head and gently said, Long Yu, you didn't do anything wrong. The one who did is someone else. Right now, it's best if you step aside. We want to return to the sect. Go back to the sect. Tan Wuchuan laughed. Elder Yu, don't listen to Long Yu. He's definitely lying to you. This guy is cunning and ruthless. Maybe he's using you. I can feel that you can't use any Xin Qi martial arts, except for your true spirit. This is a good opportunity for this guy to make a move. You're thinking too much. Get out of the way. Yu Shuiyun's tone became a little strict. No matter what, she was one of the 13 elders of the Elder Cabinet, while Tan Wuchuan was just a law enforcement elder. A law enforcement elder dared to speak like this in front of him. He obviously didn't care about him. If that was the case, why would Yu Shuiyun give Tan Wuchuan any face? Get out of the way. You're thinking too much, aren't you? Today, Long, you must die. Tan Wuchuan's eyes flashed fiercely. Luo Tailong, I'll leave the chance to avenge my godfather to you. I'll watch over Elder Yu for you. Don't worry and do it. All right. Luo Tailong suddenly exuded a fierce aura. He took a step toward Long Yu and looked at Long Yu as if he was looking at prey. Yu Shuiyun was infuriated by Tan Wuchuan. This law enforcement elder was clearly using his position to avenge a personal grudge. She had a grudge with Long Yu, yet he was intercepting them here. He didn't care about the bigger picture. What about me? I'm just following the sex rules. Elder Yu, since you've woken up, watch carefully as this sinner is executed. Tan Wuchuan looked at Long Yu, his eyes flashing fiercely. Although he could see that Long Yu had already stepped into the 9th level of the martial path, that didn't mean anything. Although they were both in the 9th level of the martial path, the difference in strength between them could be like heaven and earth. Luo Tailong was ranked 6th among the core disciples. With his strength, he could even confront a first-level true spirit realm expert for a period of time. It could be said that he was the strongest person below the true spirit realm. As for Long Yu, he had just stepped into the 9th level of the martial path. How could he be Luo Tailong's match? Today, Long Yu must die. Chapter 86. Luo Tailong took a step forward, wanting to kill Long Yu as quickly as possible. At this moment, Yu Shuiyun didn't make any moves. She had personally witnessed Long Yu kill a first-level true spirit realm expert from the Broken Saber sect. What was there to worry about? Luo Tailong was only in the 9th level of the martial path. Compared to the soul-burying Saber Lu Yi, he was much weaker. If he were to face Long Yu, he would probably be defeated in an instant. As for Long Yu, when he saw that Luo Tailong and Tan Wuchuan were working together to surround and kill him, a cold light flashed in his eyes. These two are really courting death. Long Yu thought to himself as he took a step forward. Do you think that you can fight me, Luo Tailong, just because you've just stepped into the 9th level of the martial path? Luo Tailong said coldly. Whether I can or not isn't up to you. Long Yu said indifferently. Huh, how naive. Luo Tailong and Meng so laughed at the same time. This Long Yu was really arrogant. The 4 core disciples that were following behind Long Yu and Yu Shuiyun were watching from afar, their faces filled with curiosity. They guessed that the incident between Long Yu and Yu Shuiyun might have been a misunderstanding. But now, facing Luo Tailong, this Long Yu would most likely be killed on the spot, right? After all, everyone knew that Luo Tailong's adoptive father was killed by Long Yu. As for Yu Shuiyun, she was actually unable to use martial skills or profound qi. Furthermore, she was blocked by the enforcement elder, Tan Wuchuan. She definitely wouldn't be able to help Long Yu. Long Yu's life was at stake. Amongst the crowd, only Yu Shuiyun and Long Yu didn't think so. Long Yu held the 9 nether dragon spear and stood firmly in the middle of the field. He pointed the spear at Luo Tailong and said, "Come on, let me see what you're capable of and what tricks that old fox's adoptive son has." Old fox. These 3 words caused Luo Tailong's eyes to bulge. He had been raised by Luo Changhui since he was young, and Luo Changhui had shown him great kindness. But now, not only had Long Yu killed his foster father, he had even called his foster father an old fox. Luo Tailong knew that his godfather, Luo Changhui, was indeed cunning and ruthless. But no matter what, he was still his godfather. A piece of trash like you has no right to comment on how my foster father is. Now die. Luo Tailong was infuriated by Long Yu's words, and a tyrannical aura spread out from his body. With a single step, he appeared in front of Long Yu and punched out. This punch instantly brought with it a woo-woo sound, as if the heavens were crying. It turned out to be the same martial skill as Yan's Heaven's Cry, a fist smashed over, making the heavens weep. If it exploded, its power would be beyond compare. However, Long Yu was not the slightest bit afraid of this transcendent grade martial skill. Back then, when Yin had used this move, it had already been countered by Long Yu. Needless to say, this simple punch from Luo Tailong was nothing to him. You still want to test me with this punch? This way, you will never have the chance to defeat me. A cold glint flashed in Long Yu's eyes, and the long spear in his hand danced. Immediately, the Netherworld Chi emerged from the tip of the spear. Netherworld Dragon Seal, Netherworld Veined Patterns, activate. Heaven-suppressing spear art, layers of spear shadows. Long Yu brandished his long spear, and layers of spear shadows swept towards Luo Tailong's punch. A tyrannical pressure of the heavens and earth instantly descended on Luo Tailong's body, causing his advancing figure to stagnate. Immediately after, the heaven's cry within the punch was completely suppressed by the heavens and earth. Layers of spear shadows appeared in front of Luo Tailong in an instant. World's End Barrier. Luo Tailong was caught off guard and could only use the defensive barrier derived from World's End near hand. He wanted to turn World's End into World's End to block Long Yu's domineering layers of spear shadows. He never imagined that Long Yu, who had stepped into the 9th stage of the martial Tao, would display such a terrifying power that it could directly break through his heaven's cry. However, he didn't think that Long Yu's layers of spear shadows could hurt him. After all, the World's End Barrier was a very powerful defensive move. In the next moment, the layers of spear shadows slammed into the World's End Barrier, causing a loud explosion. Luo Tailong's expression changed. He discovered that his World's End Barrier couldn't withstand a single blow from Long Yu's layers of spear shadows. Luo Tailong, who was at the 9th stage of the martial Tao, had a basic strength of 200 to 300 horses. Even if he used the World's End Barrier, a defensive move derived from a transcendent grade martial skill, he could at most withstand an attack with a strength of 400 to 500 horses. However, Long Yu's layers of spear shadows had been infused with the strength of 1,000 horses. In just an instant, Luo Tailong's World's End Barrier was shattered by the layers of spear shadows. Following that, the spear shadows continued to attack him. Even its power wasn't weakened by much. Long Yu had cultivated the demon-subduing tyrant body to perfection, allowing his basic strength to exceed that of an ordinary 9th stage martial Tao cultivator. Not to mention, he also had the strength of 100 horses after activating the 9 Nether Dragon Seal. The heaven-suppressing spear art, combined with the heaven-suppressing power to display layers of spear shadows, was definitely not something a martial cultivator of the same level could withstand. Puffed, puffed, puffed. Luo Tailong didn't even have time to dodge and was directly hit by the layers of spear shadows. Several bloody holes appeared all over his body. Bang! His red-clothed figure fell heavily to the ground. He was seriously injured and could no longer get up. With just one move, Long Yu had completely defeated Luo Tailong with the layers of spear shadows. It was as easy as slaughtering a dog. On the side, the law enforcement elder, Tan Wuchuan, who was originally looking forward to Luo Tailong killing Long Yu, turned ashen when he saw this. Wasn't this Luo Tailong too useless? He was actually so careless when dealing with Long Yu. Luo Tailong's follower, Meng Su, had an astonishingly changed expression at this moment. Luo Tailong was too careless. He had actually been defeated by Long Yu in one move. The 4 core disciples who were observing from afar had the same feeling. In their eyes, Luo Tailong wasn't a 9th stage martial Tao expert at all. As for a 9th stage martial Tao expert, how could he be defeated by Long Yu in one move? Now, there were countless wounds all over his body. It was unknown if he could still survive. However, they didn't know that Luo Tailong's defeat wasn't because of his carelessness, but because the difference in strength between him and Long Yu was too great. No matter how careful Luo Tailong was, he was destined to be no match for Long Yu. Elder Yu, this Luo Tailong wanted to kill me, so I returned the favor. There's no problem with that, right? Long Yu took a step forward, holding a long spear in his hand as he spoke indifferently. Naturally, there's no problem. Yu Shuiyun stroked his beard and said with an indifferent smile, "This, I can testify for you." Preposterous. The law enforcement elder, Tan Wuchuan's face darkened as he cursed. "We are both disciples of the Jintian clan, yet you, Long Yu, actually dealt such a heavy blow. You simply don't put the sect in your eyes. As a law enforcement elder, if I let you off today, wouldn't I be letting down the sect's nurturing?" When these words came out, Long Yu and Yu Shuiyun were immediately dumbfounded. This Tan Wuchuan was truly shameless. Just a moment ago, he had personally ordered Luo Tailong to kill Long Yu. Now, he actually said that Long Yu had dealt such a heavy blow. Elder Tan, in my opinion, this Long Yu has already entered a demonic state. If we don't get rid of him now, there will definitely be more sect disciples who will be harmed by him. The scholarly Meng said while clenching his teeth. He had challenged Long Yu in the arena, but his high-ranked combat weapon had been directly shattered by Long Yu. He had been holding it in for a long time. Not only had he lost his high-ranked combat weapon, but more importantly, he had lost all his face. He couldn't even lift his head in front of Luo Tailong. Now, even Luo Tailong had been defeated by Long Yu in a single move. If they left Long Yu alone, wouldn't Long Yu even look down on the sect's elders in the true spirit realm in the future? Tan Wuchuan was thinking the same thing. He could tell that Long Yu's growth was too fast, so fast that it was beyond his imagination. However, Long Yu had yet to condense his true spirit, so he still had a chance to kill Long Yu. If he waited until Long Yu condensed his true spirit, then even he, Tan Wuchuan, wouldn't be able to deal with Long Yu. So now Long Yu had to die. Tan Wuchuan, as the sect's law enforcement elder, don't you think it's inappropriate for you to be so ignorant? Yu Shuiyun said calmly, but her tone was stern. Ha ha ha! A burst of laughter came from not far away. Then, another group of people appeared in front of the crowd. The leader of the group was a man with a straight figure and a straight face. He was also wearing a purple robe. Just like Tan Wuchuan, he was the law enforcement elder of the first level of the true spirit realm. Elder Zheng Yizhen. Yu Shuiyun's expression changed slightly when she saw this person. "That's right, Elder Yu. It's me." Elder Zheng Yizhen seemed to be full of righteousness. He glanced at Long Yu and said calmly, "This Long Yu actually injured a senior brother of the same sect. He's really lawless. Elder Tan is right. If we let him live, he will definitely be a threat to the Jintian clan." "Even you say so?" Yu Shuiyun frowned slightly. "Because it's the truth." Zheng Yizhen's expression was full of righteousness. Long Yu looked at Zheng Yizhen. Then, he saw that there were a few Jintian clan disciples behind Zheng Yizhen. They were all low-ranked core disciples. One of them had a dark face and a strong body. Wasn't he Yu Shuiyun's disciple, Lu Guanming? Lu Guanming's face was full of excitement when he saw Yu Shuiyun. "Master." Lu Guanming didn't even think and immediately ran to Yu Shuiyun's side. However, Zheng Yizhen, who was in front of him, waved his hand and stopped Lu Guanming. He said with a righteous expression, "Wait. The most important thing now is to kill Long Yu. Don't give him any chance to escape. All of you go and surround him. Don't give him any chance to escape." The two elders of the true spirit realm, Tan Wuchuan and Zheng Yizhen, appeared at the same time and wanted to kill Long Yu on the spot. This scene made the four core disciples behind Long Yu and Yu Shuiyun look at each other. They couldn't understand why Tan Wuchuan and Zheng Yizhen were so against Long Yu, especially when Yu Shuiyun was here. "Tan Wuchuan, your disciple, Qin Tianke, was probably killed by Long Yu. Zheng Yizhen, your disciple, Ling Lai, was injured by Long Yu and lost an arm." Yu Shuiyun stood at the side and said calmly, "However, Qin Tianke repaid kindness with enmity. He wanted to kill Long Yu and steal his treasure. He deserved to die. Ling Lai followed the wind and clouds and wanted to cripple Long Yu even though there was no enmity between them. He deserved to die. The two of you, as their masters, wanted to take revenge for them without distinguishing between right and wrong. You should think about the consequences. Yu Shuiyun's words, let everyone know the truth. Chapter 87. After hearing Yu Shuiyun's words, the two deacon elders, Ten Wuchuan and Zheng Yizhen, were obviously embarrassed. However, their murderous intent towards Long Yu soon gained the upper hand. Today, I'm not here for revenge. I'm here to enforce justice on behalf of the heavens and get rid of a potential threat for the sect. Zheng Yizhen said with a righteous look on his face. Get rid of a potential threat. Long Yu laughed. Then do it. What's the point of talking so much? No matter what, you all want to kill me. Thief, you're courting death. Tan Wuchuan was furious when he heard Long Yu's laughter. This kid is too arrogant. How dare he talk to two deacon elders like this? Since you can't wait any longer, I'll send you to your death. Zheng Yizhen's face was serious. He took a step forward and took out a long sword from his waist. His long sword was a supreme martial skill. As a deacon elder of the Jintian clan, his combat weapon was naturally better than the soul-bearing saber Lu Yi. However, in terms of strength, Zheng Yizhen might not be a match for the soul-bearing saber Lu Yi. The reason why Zheng Yizhen was a deacon elder was because he couldn't condense a true spirit before the age of 40. His talent was naturally not as good as the Lu Yi. Sometimes the understanding of martial skills could not be achieved by relying on time. What was needed was talent. Zheng Yizhen was able to condense a true spirit and enter the true spirit's secret realm. His talent was better than ordinary people. At least, he was much better than the Tan clan's ancestor. However, compared to geniuses like the soul-bearing saber Lu Yi, his talent was definitely far inferior. Yu Shuiyun didn't try to stop Zheng Yizhen and Tan Wuchuan, as if he knew that this battle was inevitable. His face was filled with hatred as he glanced at the two of them. When he returned to the sect and saw the sect leader, Bai Yunzong, Yu Shuiyun would definitely suggest kicking the two of them out of the sect. As for now, Yu Shuiyun could only do his best to block one of the true spirits for Long Yu. True spirit, appear. Yu Shuiyun coldly snorted, and the immortal giant palm seal appeared behind her. Then, it heavily slapped toward Tan Wuchuan, who was relatively close to her. Elder Yu, why are you doing this? Seeing this, Tan Wuchuan's eyes flashed fiercely. Even if you are an expert at the third level of the true spirit's secret realm, now that you have been poisoned, how can you resist Elder Zheng and I? Why don't we get rid of Long Yu first, then bring you back to the sect? Cut the crap. If you want to kill Long Yu, you'll have to get past me first. Yu Shuiyun coldly snorted. The phantom of the true spirit palm pressed down towards Tan Wuchuan like Mount Tai. The terrifying sky suppressing great power instantly enveloped Tan Wuchuan's entire body, causing his expression to change. No wonder he was an expert at the third level of the true spirit realm. Even if he was poisoned, his true spirit pressure was still much stronger than Tan Wuchuan's. However, Tan Wuchuan obviously wouldn't show weakness now. If he couldn't even block a poisoned Yu Shuiyun, then how could he become the Jintian clan's law enforcement elder? True spirit, rock tortoise! Tan Wuchuan shouted. Suddenly, the phantom of a brown tortoise's true spirit appeared behind him, and a wave of suppressing power erupted. However, Tan Wuchuan had only comprehended the sky suppressing great power. He was still far from comprehending the sky suppressing great power. Therefore, he needed to concentrate all his energy to resist Yu Shuiyun's true spirit pressure. Elder Zheng, hurry up! Tan Wuchuan gritted his teeth and said immediately. Zheng Yizhen nodded and looked at Long Yu with pity in his eyes. It's not that I want to kill you, but what you have done is too cruel. It goes against the rules of the Jintian clan. Even now, Zheng Yizhen was still boasting in a dignified manner, causing Long Yu to burst into laughter. Old dog, if you want to kill me, Then do it. Don't talk nonsense. Long Yu laughed and held the 9 nether dragon spear in his hand. He was not afraid of Zheng Yizhen at all. How dare you? Anger finally appeared on Zheng Yizhen's face. He had never heard anyone call him an old dog in his entire life. At least, he had never heard Long Yu humiliate him like this. He was courting death. Zheng Yizhen held the long sword in his hand and took a step forward. Suddenly, he rushed towards Long Yu. The long sword was gradually covered with a hint of the coolness of late autumn. The technique he used was a supreme sword art martial skill, Guanqiu sword. Long Yu was no stranger to this sword technique. However, he did not dare to be careless. This was because he was not facing Meng Su or Hua Yiluan, but a deacon elder who had condensed his true spirit. Guanqiu sword, falling leaves and rising frost. Your autumn of death has arrived. Zheng Yizhen held his sword and rushed towards Long Yu with a solemn expression. With a swing of his sword, the falling leaves danced in the air. Cold frost floated up and decorated the surrounding area into a scene of late autumn. Elder Zheng's Guanqiu sword is like a god descending to the mortal world. It's too strong. That's right. With just one sword, it outlined the concept of late autumn. I want to see how long you can block it. The core disciples who came with Zheng Yizhen all pointed at him, not forgetting to compliment Zheng Yizhen as they watched. As for Yu Shuiyun's disciple, the black-faced and burly Lu Guanming, his eyes were focused on Yu Shuiyan. To him, Yu Shuiyan was his everything. Regardless of who it was, no one should even think of harming his master in front of him. When Lu Guanming first saw Yu Shuiyan, he was indescribably happy. However, now that he saw Yu Shuiyan fighting with the deacon elder, he could not help but worry. At this moment, Long Yu faced Zheng Yizhen's Guanqiu sword without any pressure. As an expert in the true spirit's secret realm, if you don't condense your true spirit, how can you display any power? Long Yu laughed as he brandished the long spear in his hand. Netherworld Qi instantly swept across the ground. The concept of late autumn that Zheng Yizhen had condensed with his sword was directly shattered by Long Yu's casual attack. Eat my spear. Long Yu leaped high into the air and stabbed his spear at Zheng Yizhen. Zheng Yizhen's purple robe flickered as he appeared behind Long Yu. Sure enough, he had also cultivated the transcendent martial skill, World's End near at hand. Your strength is indeed stronger than an ordinary martial path 9-stage cultivator. However, in front of me, you are just a clown? Zheng Yizhen roared as his true spirit condensed. The shadow of a fist-shaped true spirit appeared behind him. Zheng Yizhen's true spirit was a fist the size of a few people. It contained a strong heaven-suppressing concept. The moment it appeared, Long Yu felt pressured. As expected, I have to face a true spirit to make this battle a little more interesting. Long Yu thought to himself as he brandished the 9 nether dragon spear and turned around to stab. Layers of spear shadows. The layers of spear shadows actually swept towards Zheng Yizhen's true spirit realm. I'll let you see just how powerful the experts of the true spirit's secret realm are, so that you can die in peace. Zheng Yizhen waved his hand, and the true spirit fist faced the layers of spear shadows. In an instant, the two sides collided. Spear shadows, suppress. Long Yu roared as the heaven-suppressing aura that was integrated into the layers of spear shadows erupted and enveloped the true spirit fist. Zheng Yizhen's true spirit fist only contained the heaven-suppressing aura. Compared to Long Yu's heaven-suppressing aura, it was far inferior. Unfortunately, Long Yu's basic strength was still lacking compared to Zheng Yizhen's. As a result, the layers of spear shadows that contained the heaven-suppressing aura were completely blocked by the true spirit realm. This Long Yu is really overestimating himself. He actually wants to fight a true spirit realm with the strength of a 9th-stage martial path cultivator. I'm dying of laughter. It's like throwing an egg against a rock. He's digging his own grave. In my opinion, Long Yu should quickly kneel down and beg Elder Zheng not to kill him. Ha ha! The disciples that followed Zheng Yizhen burst into laughter. However, in comparison, Zhang Yizhen's expression did not look good, because in the previous collision, although his true spirit fist had blocked the layers of spear shadows from Long Yu, a crack had also appeared on it. In other words, Long Yu had the strength to destroy his true spirit fist. This brat is actually so terrifying. I must kill him here today. Zhang Yizhen made up his mind and finally prepared to use his strongest sword skill, Mighty Heaven's sword skill. This sword skill was not something that an ordinary disciple of the Jintian clan could come into contact with. Without condensing a true spirit, it was impossible to cultivate this sword skill. Mighty Heaven's sword skill had surpassed ordinary upper and transcendent rank martial skills. It had reached another level. Long Yu did not know what this level was. However, he was sure that this martial skill was even more terrifying than a transcendent rank martial skill. Zhang Yizhen withdrew his true spirit fist and pointed his sword at Long Yu. "You're dead." Zhang Yizhen's face was full of righteousness. The sword in his hand gradually emitted a heavenly might. It was actually absorbing power from the true spirit fist. This is... Long Yu's expression changed slightly. The moment Zhang Yizhen spoke, he felt a terrifying pressure envelop him. This is Mighty Heaven's sword skill. Its power is far beyond ordinary martial skills. Yu Shuiyun said solemnly, while blocking Tan Wuchuan with her true spirit. Actually, people in the 9th stage of the martial path only cultivate mortal rank martial skills. Whether it is lower, middle, upper, or transcendent rank martial skills, they all belong to the category of mortal rank martial skills. Above mortal rank martial skills, there are spirit rank martial skills. Mighty Heaven Sword Skill is a type of spirit rank martial skill. Although it is only a lower rank martial skill, its power is much stronger than a transcendent rank martial skill. Yu Shuiyun's words made Long Yu's heart tremble. Spirit rank martial skill. It turned out that all the martial skills he had cultivated were mortal rank martial skills. Even the first skill of the 9 Abyss Dragon Fist, Drunken Underworld, was only a transcendent rank martial skill. Although it was powerful, it was still a mortal rank martial skill. This means that the second skill of the 9 Abyss Dragon Fist, Samsara Awakening, is also a spirit rank martial skill. Moreover, it is also a transcendent rank martial skill. Chapter 88. Zhang Yizhen had a long sword in his hand and was about to use the Heaven's Might Sword Art. A boundless might of the heavens enveloped Long Yu. I must make the first move. Long Yu's heart trembled. The current him did not know how powerful a spirit-level martial skill was. This was the biggest difference between a true spirit realm expert and a 9th stage martial Dao expert. Previously, the soul-burying saber willow leaf was probably killed by Long Yu's 9 nether explosion when it was about to use a spirit-level martial skill. Otherwise, Long Yu would not have been able to kill Willow Leaf. Nether Dragon Leap. With a thought, Long Yu's entire body was lifted up by the 9 Nether Dragon Spear. Then, like a boulder falling from the sky, he shot towards Zhang Yizhen. The tyrannical pressure of the heaven suppressing great power instantly suppressed Zhang Yizhen. In addition, the withering swamp concept from the strange grass was also released, turning the air around Zhang Yizhen into a swamp. Twin concept. Zhang Yizhen felt his body become sluggish, and his expression changed. This Long Yu had actually comprehended the twin concept and was able to suppress him on the spot, making him unable to move. Reverse scale touch kill. Long Yu descended from the sky and bit his finger, dripping blood onto the 9 Nether Dragon Spear. Suddenly, a 9 Nether Dragon's roar seemed to descend from the sky. Long Yu descended with the 9 Nether Dragon Spear and stabbed towards Zhang Yizhen. It was as if a 9 Nether Dragon had descended from the sky, wanting to swallow Zhang Yizhen whole. Heaven's Might Sword Art. Zhang Yizhen was indeed an expert at the first level of the true spirit realm. Even though he was entangled by the twin concept, he was still able to use his sword techniques. The spirit-level martial skill, Heaven's Might Sword Art, instantly erupted with a burst of heavenly might. Combined with the true spirit shadow on his back, it instantly condensed into a giant sword light that attacked Long Yu in the sky. Dodge! Long Yu took a step forward and his figure flickered in the air, instantly dodging the giant sword light. Then, his spear arrived above Zheng Yizhen's head. Bang! Zheng Yizhen swept his sword horizontally, filling the air with heavenly might. Immediately, he blocked Long Yu's reverse scale touch. Where the spear and the sword collided, a terrifying airflow erupted, sending both Long Yu and Zheng Yizhen flying backwards before crashing heavily onto the ground. Both sides suffered. A spirit-grade martial technique is indeed extraordinary. Long Yu endured the surging qi and blood in his body and stood up. He knew that if he did not stand up now, he would never be able to stand up again in this lifetime. Even though his refined internal organs were slightly injured by the heaven's might condensed from the mighty heaven sword art, he could only persevere and continue fighting. As for Zheng Yizhen, his injuries were equally severe. Long Yu's spiritual communication martial technique, even if it was just a self-injury, had the strength of at least 2,000 horses. Even though Zheng Yizhen had used the mighty heaven sword technique to send Long Yu flying, he himself still received an extremely strong shock when he was stabbed by a spear with the strength of 2,000 horses. Most importantly, he had yet to cultivate a body-tempering martial technique. His body strength was not even comparable to Long Yu's. In this exchange, Zheng Yizhen's injuries were even heavier than Long Yu's. As the two sides collided, explosive shells flew out. The surrounding people were all dumbfounded. Long Yu, who was at the 9th level of the martial Dao, had actually fought to a draw with Zheng Yizhen. Both of them had been sent flying. It was simply unbelievable. Furthermore, Yu Shuiyun had already stated that Zheng Yizhen had used the spirit-grade martial technique, Mighty Heaven Sword Art. This Long Yu was actually able to stand up after clashing with the Mighty Heaven Sword Art. He was simply a monstrous monster. Even the black-faced Lu Guanming couldn't help but look at the scene in surprise. This Long Yu was so strong. Elder Zheng, Tan Wuchuan had been suppressed by Yu Shuiyun's true spirit palm all this time. He cursed in his heart. This Zheng Yizhen was too unreliable. He couldn't even deal with someone at the 9th level of the martial Dao. Only Yu Shuiyun had an indifferent expression at this moment. She had long known that Zheng Yizhen alone was definitely not a match for Long Yu. What's more, Long Yu hadn't even used his strongest martial technique yet. Zheng Yizhen and Long Yu were both sent flying. Long Yu quickly stood up, but Zheng Yizhen's speed wasn't as fast as his. I'll cut you into 1,000 pieces to vent the hatred in my heart. Zheng Yizhen roared angrily as he held his sword and tried to get up. However, as he roared this nonsense, Long Yu was already preparing to use the 9 Nether Dragon Fist, drunken reclining in the Yellow Springs. After falling, the speed at which one got up could sometimes determine life and death. Drunken reclining in the Yellow Springs, one punch simulating the path of the Yellow Springs. Long Yu swung his fist, and a Yellow Springs path condensed from the Netherworld, qi instantly covered the entire space, enveloping Zheng Yizhen, who had yet to get up. Zheng Yizhen was stunned into a daze, and even the fist true spirit behind him showed signs of collapsing. 9 Nether Dragon Fist, Peak Realm. A cold light flashed in Long Yu's eyes, and he punched the ground. 9 Nether Explosion. At the peak of the Yellow Springs, drunk Yellow Springs could stir the Yellow Springs with a single punch, gathering the energy of the 9 underworlds. It was like a volcano erupting from the bottom of the Yellow Springs. In the next moment, Zheng Yizhen didn't even have the chance to stand up before he was instantly engulfed by a pillar of 9th hell qi that erupted from beneath his feet. Ah! A blood-curdling scream came from Zheng Yizhen's mouth, causing everyone's hair to stand on end. Apart from Yu Shuiyun, everyone else was stunned. Each and every one of them stared at Zheng Yizhen, who was enveloped by the 9 Nether Qi pillar, as if they were facing the 9 Nether Hell, causing them to be stunned on the spot. It was as if a pillar of pitch-black magma had erupted from the ground, instantly engulfing Zheng Yizhen. However, Zhang Yizhen's screams didn't last for long. In just a breath's time, Zhang Yizhen was silent. At this moment, the 9 nether chi pillar dissipated in all directions. What appeared in front of everyone was a corpse that had been sucked dry by the 9 nether chi. Zhang Yizhen, an expert at the first level of the true spirit realm and a law enforcement elder, had actually been killed by Long Yu, who was at the 9th level of the martial Dao. What kind of terrifying martial technique had Long Yu cultivated? Everyone felt a chill in their hearts as they looked at Long Yu, as if they were looking at a monster. Kill. However, at this moment, Tan Wuchuan suddenly exploded. The moment he saw Zhang Yizhen die, Tan Wuchuan clearly knew that if he wanted to kill Long Yu today, he could only rely on him. And now that he was blocked by Yu Shuiyun's true spirit palm, he had no way to deal with Long Yu. As such, he could only deal with Yu Shuiyun first. Tan Wuchuan originally didn't dare to attack Yu Shuiyun, but now he was willing to risk everything to kill Long Yu. Since Yu Shuiyun wanted to stop him from killing Long Yu, he would kill Yu Shuiyun first. And everyone who had seen what he had done today must die. Tan Wuchuan's eyes were bloodshot and emitted a bloodthirsty light. He used the rock tortoise true spirit to fight against Yu Shuiyun's true spirit palm, while he condensed the profound qi in his body and threw a punch at Yu Shuiyun. At this moment, Yu Shuiyun was poisoned and couldn't resist at all. Her true spirit palm was entangled with Tan Wuchuan's rock tortoise true spirit, but it couldn't stop Tan Wuchuan's purple-robed figure. Elder Yu. Long Yu was shocked when he saw this. He wanted to run over to help her, but his internal organs were in turmoil, causing him to spit out a mouthful of blood. The 9 nether dragon spear was stained with blood once again. However, Long Yu had just used the 9 nether dragon fist and hadn't recovered yet, so he couldn't use the reverse scale touch in time. And in just a breath's time, Yu Shuiyun would be killed by Tan Wuchuan. Don't you dare hurt my master. At this moment, an angry roar echoed through the crowd. A strong figure in a black robe shot through the crowd like an arrow, arriving in front of Yu Shuiyun in just a moment. This figure had a black face and was full of anger. Wasn't this Yu Shuiyun's disciple, Lu Guanming? Although he was only at the 8th stage of the martial path, he didn't hesitate to block Yu Shuiyun's path and fight Tan Wuchuan. Lu Guanming was only ranked 35th among the core disciples. Of course, he couldn't defeat Tan Wuchuan in the true spirit realm like Long Yu. Even if Tan Wuchuan's rock tortoise true spirit was being held back by Yu Shuiyun's giant palm true spirit, Lu Guanming had no chance of defeating Tan Wuchuan. You're courting death. Tan Wuchuan's eyes flashed with ferocity as he punched out with his fist. It was another transcendent grade martial skill, Heaven's Tier. Of course, Tan Wuchuan only used Heaven's Tier to deal with Lu Guanming. After killing Lu Guanming, he would definitely have to use a spiritual grade martial skill to kill Yu Shuiyun. Lu Guanming faced Tan Wuchuan's Heaven's Tier without fear. Instead, he shouted angrily, I don't care if you want to deal with Long Yu, but if you want to deal with my master, you'll be betraying the sect. Even if you kill me, you will still die. These words aroused Tan Wuchuan's ferocity. His eyes were bloodthirsty as he said, then die. The Heaven's Tier contained a heaven-suppressing charm and instantly enveloped Lu Guanming's entire body. Imperial Boulder Condense. Lu Guanming raised his hand and instantly condensed a pile of boulders. However, these boulders did not condense into a boulder shield wall. Instead, they completely covered his body like armor. Lu Guanming, who was covered by countless boulders, was like a giant boulder that took the initiative to attack Tan Wuchuan. This is Imperial Boulder, Transcendent Grade. Lu Guanming's actions shocked everyone. Imperial Boulder was a superior grade defensive martial skill. It was the most popular skill in the Jintian clan, and there were at least a few hundred people who practiced it. However, among them, it had been a long time since someone had cultivated the Imperial Boulder to Transcendent Grade. Lu Guanming was the first person in so many years. In the cultivation of martial skills, there were stages from minor success to great success, from peak to complete, and after that, there was Transcendent Grade. However, These were not the peak of martial skill cultivation. When a true martial skill was cultivated to the peak, it was transcendent grade. No matter what kind of martial skill it was, once it reached transcendent grade, it would completely transform into another kind of martial skill. Simply put, it meant that one could freely control the concept and power of the martial skill. At this moment, Lu Guanming was like this. With a wave of his hand, he controlled countless boulders and armed himself with boulders. He took the initiative to collide with the purple-robed Tan Wuchuan. Die. Chapter 89. As Tan Wuchuan's fist detonated the heaven's cry, a terrifying explosive force spread out from Lu Guanming's body, who had turned into a boulder. Lu Guanming's entire body flew backward amidst the explosion of the boulder, and the rubble on his body scattered in all directions. Tan Wuchuan's heaven's cry had actually shattered the boulder that covered Lu Guanming's body. However, Lu Guanming, who was covered by the boulder, was not injured at all. A faint golden glow appeared on the surface of his body. It was actually the demon subduing Vajra shield. The defensive martial technique, controlling boulder, combined with the demon subduing Vajra shield, had actually allowed Lu Guanming to withstand Tan Wuchuan's terrifying punch. As a martial cultivator at the 8th stage of the martial path, Lu Guanming could be proud of himself for being able to do this. Controlling boulder wrap around him, Lu Guanming gritted his teeth and flew backward. However, his hands danced quickly. Suddenly, many of the rubble on the ground condensed again and swept toward Tan Wuchuan. Countless rubble wanted to entangle Tan Wuchuan, not letting him harm you, Shueyun, at all. You want to entangle me? Dream on. Tan Wuchuan shouted angrily, and then the heaven's cry exploded again. A punch and a kick immediately erupted with terrifying power, shattering all the rubble that wanted to entangle him, turning them into dregs that floated in the air. With Lu Guanming's strength, wanting to block Tan Wuchuan was indeed a fool's dream. However, as long as he could hold on for a while, it would be enough. Long Yu, who was at the side, had already caught his breath. He immediately felt the heartbeat of the 9 nether dragon spear in his hand. Dong! 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 As the spirituality of the 9 nether dragon spear pulsed, Long Yu's Xian Qi began to boil. Reverse scale touch, kill. Long Yu held the tip of his spear horizontally as he took a step forward, rushing toward Tan Wuchuan like a gust of wind. A spear, a wave of netherworld energy, brought with it a sinister and strange aura, causing the expression of Tan Wuchuan, who was about to kill Lu Guanming, to change slightly. This Long Yu had been injured in the fight with Zhang Yizhen. How could he still display such tyrannical spear techniques? This kid was clearly only at the 9th stage of the martial Dao. Tan Wuchuan's face was filled with shock. Then, a ferocious look flashed in his eyes. Very well. I wanted to kill you in the first place. Now, you've delivered yourself to me. You're courting death. As soon as he finished speaking, he turned around to face Long Yu as if he was about to execute some kind of tyrannical martial skill. If Tan Wuchuan were to use a spirit-grade martial skill, then the current Long Yu would have no way of blocking it. This was because he had already been injured by Zhang Yizhen. If they were to fight again, he would probably be seriously injured or even killed. However, Long Yu did not retreat at all. He held the 9 nether dragon spear and listened to the heartbeat coming from the spear. This heartbeat was compatible with his bloodline, allowing him to understand that this spear was once used by his father. 9 nether dragon spear, universe dragon spear. When my father was holding you, he must not have retreated a single step. Long Yu thought in his heart. He gritted his teeth and felt the tyrannical pressure from the 9 nether dragon spear. He activated all the Xian Qi in his body and stabbed out with the reverse-scaled tentacle. It was as if the shadow of the 9 nether dragon appeared in the air. Roar! A dragon's roar, which seemed to come from a 9 nether dragon, resounded in the minds of everyone nearby. This allowed them to clearly understand how powerful this spear of Long Yu's was. Boulder continued to tangle with him. At this time, Lu Guangming once again executed the boulder controlling technique, which had already reached perfection. A large number of gravel continued to roll towards Tan Wuchuan. Lu Guangming's black face turned red as he controlled so many boulders. In order to save his master, Yu Shuiyun, he was willing to risk everything at this time. As long as he could tangle with Tan Wuchuan for a moment, Long Yu could kill Tan Wuchuan with one spear strike and save his master's life. Faced with Lu Guangming's entanglement, Tan Wuchuan was extremely angry. However, he had underestimated Lu Guangming's and Long Yu's strength from the very beginning. Even someone as strong as Tan Wuchuan could not ignore Lu Guangming's boulder attack. Heaven's cry exploded. Tan Wuchuan waved his fist, and suddenly, the heaven's cry exploded. The gravel that filled the sky was once again turned into dust. However, at this time, Long Yu's spiritual communication technique, the reverse scale touch, had finally arrived. As the spear struck, Tan Wuchuan felt as if he was shrouded in the underworld of the Nine Nether, causing his entire body to tremble with fear. Go to hell! Tan Wuchuan roared angrily. His footsteps shifted slightly, and his figure suddenly shifted. He actually swayed to the side at this moment, dodging the spear strike. At the same time, he punched towards Long Yu. It's the spirit-level martial technique, the soul-stirring fist. Yu Shuiyun, who was observing from the side, immediately warned him with a serious expression. The soul-stirring fist can shake the opponent's soul with just one punch, causing the opponent's Xian-Qi to become unstable. They will not be able to use any martial techniques for a short period of time. Long Yu, be careful. It was indeed a spirit-level martial technique. Long Yu's heart trembled. Upon seeing this, he did not hesitate to throw the Nine Nether Dragon Spear in his hand towards Tan Wuchuan. Go! The long spear carried endless Xian-Qi, and it integrated with the heaven-suppressing great power. In the blink of an eye, it arrived in front of Tan Wuchuan. Soul-stirring fist, break for me. Tan Wuchuan's face revealed a bloodthirsty expression, and he directly punched towards the Nine Nether Dragon Spear that had left his hand. However, he had greatly neglected the power of Long Yu's spear strike. Although the Nine Nether Dragon Spear had left his hand, the Nine Nether Dragon Spear at this moment had condensed the terrifying power of the reverse scale touch. Furthermore, it was the reverse scale touch that had erupted after Long Yu had been injured. This spear strike was even more ferocious, faster, and more destructive than the one that Long Yu had used against Zhang Yijin. Of course, when Zhang Yijin and Long Yu had exchanged blows just now, Long Yu had dodged the giant sword light of the heavens might sword art. But now, Tan Wuchuan was using the strongest power of the soul-stirring fist to fight against the Nine Nether Dragon Spear. It was very difficult to determine who was stronger and who was weaker between the two sides. In the next moment, Tan Wuchuan's fist smashed onto the tip of the Nine Nether Dragon Spear. Suddenly, a terrifying airflow erupted, and the corner of Tan Wuchuan's purple robe was lifted up. A wave that could intimidate one's soul spread in all directions, and it instantly affected Long Yu, who had just thrown the Nine Nether Dragon Spear. Boom! Boom! Long Yu only felt that his brain had started to shake continuously, and even the rhythm of the profound energy in his body had been disrupted. As expected, he was unable to use any martial skills. The soul-stirring fist could intimidate one's soul with one punch, and it would make the opponent unable to use any martial skills for a short period of time. Not only Long Yu, but even Lu Guangming, who was not far away, and the other people who were watching were also shocked by the wave of the soul-stirring fist, and they were unable to use any martial skills in actual combat. However, Tan Wuchuan himself did not feel good either. The power of Long Yu's reverse scale touch was far beyond his imagination. Even though the majority of the power of the spear had been dispersed by his punch, the remaining power still pushed him back a few steps. Tan Wuchuan felt that his internal organs and meridians were shaking, and there was actually a strange power that was wreaking havoc in his meridians. The Nine Nether Qi had started to corrode his meridians. Long Yu needed time to recover from the shock of the soul-stirring fist, and Tan Wuchuan also needed time to expel the 9 nether chi from his body. Neither of them made a move for the time being. However, when Tan Wuchuan used his profound energy to expel the 9 nether chi from his body, his control over his true spirit immediately weakened. Yu Shuiyun, who was at the side, seized the opportunity to activate the true spirit palm and suppress the rock tortoise's true spirit in an instant. Under the ferocious power of heaven and earth, the rock tortoise's true spirit was actually completely destroyed. The difference between the first and third level of the true spirit realm was simply too great. Tan Wuchuan wanted to compete with Yu Shuiyun's true spirit, but it was impossible for him to be her opponent. Suppress. Immediately after, Yu Shuiyun controlled the true spirit palm and slammed it down on Tan Wuchuan. The power of heaven's suppression descended, and it was as if Mount Tai was pressing down on him. Tan Wuchuan desperately wanted to escape, but at this moment, Long Yu activated the blizzard boots on his feet. A wave of ice and snow instantly swept out and froze Tan Wuchuan's footsteps. Although Long Yu was temporarily unable to use any martial skills, he could activate the blizzard boots that resonated with him. Under the freezing ice and snow, Tan Wuchuan's movements became sluggish. In an instant, he was completely suppressed by Yu Shuiyun's true spirit palm, and the connection between his meridians and his dantian was cut off. Bang! Tan Wuchuan knelt on the ground with both knees, resisting Yu Shuiyun's true spirit palm. His eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. I can't accept this. Long Yu, you killed my disciple. How can I let you live? Tan Wuchuan's eyes were filled with ferocity as he stared at Long Yu. I saved Qin Tiang's sister, but he wanted to kill me and take the beast core from me. Long Yu asked calmly, I want to ask you, in your eyes, when I encountered such a situation, I could only obediently let your disciple Qin Tiangke kill me and take away the beast core? As soon as he said this, the surrounding people started whispering and pointing at Tan Wuchuan. Indeed, Yu Shuiyun had just said this fact. Under such a fact, it was clear that Qin Tiangke had violated the rules of the Jintian clan first, and Tan Wuchuan wanted to take revenge for him. So he had brazenly attacked Yu Shuiyun. This was simply insane. So what? Tan Wuchuan raised his head and laughed. You kill my disciple. If I don't take revenge for him, what kind of teacher am I? Why should I let him call me teacher? You. He seemed to want to say something, but the next moment, a white ripple flew across the sky and hit Tan Wuchuan's chest, shattering his heart in one fell swoop. With this attack, Tan Wuchuan would lose his life. Skywave traversal. Everyone recognized this martial arts technique and then looked in the direction where the white ripple had come from. They saw a young man in black tights walking towards them with a faint smile on his face. It was the number 1 core disciple of the Jintian clan, Walking. At this moment, Walking had finally heard the news and ended Tan Wuchuan's life. Even if he hadn't come, Long Yu could have waited for his Xian Qi to recover and then killed Tan Wuchuan. However, Walking had saved a lot of time. Let's go back to the sect, Walking said, then turned around and walked away. Teacher, let's go. Lu Guanming, who had a dark face, was overjoyed. He hurried forward to help Yu Shuiyun up. As for Long Yu, he went forward to pick up the 9-Yu dragon spear. Even though it had been hit by Tan Wuchuan, the long spear was still undamaged. It was obvious that its quality was absolutely extraordinary. Martial arts techniques are divided into mortal level and spirit level. Then, maybe combat weapons are also divided into mortal level and spirit level. This 9-Yu dragon spear is most likely a spirit level combat weapon. No wonder it is so strong. Long Yu thought to himself. Holding the 9-Yu dragon spear, he followed Walking and Yu Shuiyun back to the sect. The onlookers looked at each other in dismay. They had never thought that this would happen. 2 law-enforcing elders of the true spirit secret realm had died here. Moreover, it could be said that they had all died at the hands of Long Yu, and the number 1 core disciple, Walking, had killed Tan Wuchuan and then asked everyone to go back to the sect. He was probably going to announce something. After long, you had kidnapped Elder Yu. He had appeared with the awakened Elder Yu. What on earth had happened? Chapter 90. Together with Yu Shuai-yun and Lu Guanming, Long Yu followed the footsteps in the direction of the Jintian clan. The few core disciples that Zheng Yijin had brought along, as well as Luo Tailong's follower, Meng Su, followed them from afar. As for the other group, they were the four core disciples who had met Long Yu at the very beginning. They had made way for Long Yu, and they had also followed him. These Jintian clan disciples had personally witnessed the battle between Long Yu, Zheng Yijin, and Tan Wuchuan, the two enforcement elders of the true spirit realm. Every one of them was shocked by Long Yu's terrifying battle strength. However, Long Yu was still trying to sum up his shortcomings from the battle just now. My basic strength is still too weak. There's still a distance between me and the experts of the true spirit realm. This is my biggest disadvantage. Long Yu thought to himself. Apart from this, my speed can't keep up. Looks like I have to improve my ghost flash to the small success realm before I can consider other things. No matter what, speed was one of the keys to a martial cultivator's battle strength. Although Long Yu was able to use the Nether Dragon Leap, it wasn't very suitable for him to deal with his opponents in battle. The others only saw Long Yu's strength, so they pointed at him and whispered. As for Long Yu himself, he was thinking about how to make himself stronger. This was the greatest difference between Long Yu and ordinary martial cultivators. No matter what, he would always stick to his heart and raise his own strength as his main goal. Other than that, he rarely paid attention to other things, unless it was related to people close to him, such as Yu Shuai-yun, Feng Chang'e, or Ling Han. Now that I think about it, it's almost time for Ling Han to invite me to the Ling family's villa. When Elder Yu's matter is over, it's about time for me to go. After thinking about it, Long Yu raised his head and looked forward. He followed closely behind. Lu Guanming and Yu Shuai-yun followed behind him. The master and disciple had not seen each other for a long time and had many things to say. However, although Lu Guanming and Long Yu could be said to have teamed up to deal with Tan Wuchuan, Lu Guanming still didn't trust Long Yu at this time. Occasionally, he would look at Long Yu with some hostility. The truth had yet to be revealed, and Yu Shuai-yun had yet to explain anything to him. Soon, the entire Jintian clan would know the truth. Senior Brother Bu. Soon, they returned to the Jintian clan and were met by many Jintian clan disciples. These disciples looked at Long Yu with disdain because in their eyes, Long Yu was a traitor who had betrayed the Jintian clan. He even wanted to kill his savior, Elder Yu. He was extremely shameless. Senior Brother Bu, good job. Only you can catch this traitor, Long Yu. Haha, this sinner has finally been caught, and Elder Yu has been saved. After all, to everyone's knowledge, it was impossible for a cultivator in the 9th rank of the martial path to defeat an expert in the true spirit realm. As for the truth, they could only wait and see what the sect leader had to say after Bu Fong and his group arrived at the Heavenly Suppression Hall. Following batch after batch of sky-suppressing sect disciples, Bu Bu, Long Yu, and the others were soon followed by hundreds of sky-suppressing sect disciples. Moreover, the number was still increasing, and the entire mountain path was completely blocked. Not long after, a wide platform appeared in front of Long Yu. There was a grand and majestic palace building on the platform. As soon as they saw the palace, everyone felt a wave of heaven-suppressing laws descend from the sky, and it seemed to envelop all of them. Heavenly Suppression Hall. This Heavenly Suppression Hall was the center of the Jintian clan. Only when something big happened would the sect leader gather the disciples and elders to discuss relevant matters. At this moment, everyone followed Bu Fong and Long Yu to the Heavenly Suppression Hall. Everyone knew that the Jintian clan was about to change. What's going on? Even if Long Yu is a sinner, there's no need to come to the Heavenly Suppression Hall to punish him, right? In the crowd, a young man in a white shirt said with some surprise. This white-shirted young man was Yi Yan's follower, Lu Shucheng, who had been scared away by Long Yu previously. Beside Lu Shucheng was a sturdy young man in a grayish-white robe. This person was Yin, who was ranked 7th among the core disciples who had lost to Long Yu. Yin and Lu Shucheng were both late to the crowd, so they did not hear Bufang's words. At this moment, they naturally did not know that Long Yu was not here as a sinner. At this moment, Yan's eyes were flickering with a murderous light as he stared at Long Yu. Long Yu actually came back alive, and he even brought Yu Shuiyin back with him. Moreover, he even followed Bufang to the heavenly suppression hall. This was different from Master's plan. However, regardless of what Yin thought, he had no right to speak at this moment. Bufang and Yu Shuiyin stopped in front of the heavenly suppression hall. Meanwhile, Long Yu and Lu Guanming stopped behind the two of them. Around the four of them, nearly 1,000 Jintian clan disciples had gathered and were pointing at the scene. Of course, the one who was being discussed the most was Long Yu. After all, Long Yu was undoubtedly the main character in this incident. Regardless of whether he was a sinner or was rumored to have killed 2 enforcement elders of the true spirit realm, Long Yu was enough to become the focus of the crowd. Many people had guessed that the incident was not as simple as they had imagined, but most of them still regarded Long Yu as a sinner. This was because Wu Jianxin's previous actions were too successful. He had kidnapped Elder Yu while he was unconscious, and hundreds of Jintian clan disciples had witnessed it with their own eyes. How could such a crime be washed away? The result would be out soon. Master, I'm here. Bufang stood in front of the heavenly suppression hall and reported. Following his words, a middle-aged man in a striped outfit and a short, dark-faced man with thick arms walked out. The former was none other than the sect leader of the Jintian clan, Bai Yunzong. His mustache had almost become his trademark. The latter was one of the 13 elders of the Elder Cabinet, Wu Jianxin, Elder Wu. Wu Jianxin's face was filled with ruthlessness. As soon as he walked out, he immediately glared at Long Yu. Long Yu, you audacious thug. You've been on the run for so long, but you still can't escape the punishment of the sect. Wu Jianxin shouted and pointed at Long Yu. He was the first to gain the upper hand. Long Yu immediately felt that Wu Jianxin was quite pitiful. He was about to die, but he still had no idea that Yu Shuiyin had found out about his collusion with Wu Li from the Broken Saber sect. Most of the people in the hall shuddered when they heard Wu Jianxin's words. Sure enough, this Long Yu was going to be convicted of a crime. It seemed that he would not be able to escape death. Many people immediately wanted to support Wu Jianxin. At the same time, they started to criticize Long Yu. Among these people were Lu Shucheng and Yin. This Long Yu dared to commit treason by trying to kill Elder Yu, who was his benefactor. He deserves to be despised. That's right. In my opinion, we should kill him on the spot to intimidate the ancestors of the Jintian clan. Otherwise, I'm afraid something like this will happen again in the future. Let's just kill this sinner, Long Yu. In my opinion, there's no need to sentence him. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.